You wanted to contribute?
Yeah, I'm looking for light-skinned girls.
Yeah.
To appear in the film.
Okay. So what do you want us to do for you then?
Size 12 to 14, high heels, to appear in the film.
What kind of film is it?
Well, if there's any girls out there that want to know.
Sorry? You're having a laugh.
I'm a film, no seriously, I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah, but you're having a laugh, you're gonna phone...
I'm making a lot of money.
Yeah, but you're gonna phone Genesis. Genesis is to ask them you're gonna make some porno naked movie. You're gonna phone Genesis for that. Better you phone Power Jam or Vogue or one of them shows. You get me? It's them shows support that, you get me? This don't support
but I can make a lot of money.
Ah, sure. Listen, later. I don't know, what's he on? I think he's been smoking some drugs or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm making a load of money. He wants a porno. He wants some people, some light-skinned girls in high heels to come up with to do some porno movie because he's making money. Phoning Genesis for that. Can you believe that? Jesus Christ! Some of these, you know, when you're talking about some of them guys in Amsterdam lost their mind. We've got a lot of them walking around there have lost their mind. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But where was I? I think he's having a laugh. Huh? Yeah, I was saying I don't know if they can be trusted. Yes, because they've injected the people in Tuskegee in America with syphilis, black man, to see how well that would catch on. Then they went to Africa and gave them the smallpox vaccine, and gave the whole half of Africa AIDS. You know what I'm saying? And now we've got some more taking of blood situation happening here. Do you trust these people? You know what I'm saying? Do you trust them to inject you and take some blood from you you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be looking for your family and ended up, you know what I'm saying, 6 feet under or something, or with some special new kind of genetic born DNA sequence disease. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think that it's about time we kind of get with the program. Yeah, I think it's about time that we get with the program and understand that we are in a society that is antagonistic towards us as a people, and that the only real favor they can do us, really, as far as I'm concerned, is give us back our land. You know what I'm saying? That's the only real favor they could do us. You know what I'm saying? Say, yeah, listen, we nicked Africa from you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's time that we give it back to you. Throw all the people out of Zimbabwe. Let Britain give them some money, or America. Come back to these countries, and you know what I'm saying? Set up a sort of haven for us to go back to and plant some whatever, or do whatever, or build houses, build land, build industry, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm more with that than bloody looking for your blood type and stuff like that. As if we're not divided already, they want us to find out, say, oh yeah, I'm from this tribe and this tribe did that, and I'm from that tribe and that tribe did that. I don't know, what next? The number is 07946 437 590. You get what I'm saying? Anything else you want to talk about anyway? Any issues that you'd like to raise other than porno movies? You get what I'm saying? We'll try to extend the the discussion or the argument or the topic. You know what I'm saying? Try to get a bit more in depth. The number is 07946 437 590.
And related to that. Again, on the topic of blood samples and injections and things like that, I know recently the government have launched a campaign to inject all children of about 4 or 5 year olds, as well as young teenagers about 13 to between about 14 and 17. Hold on. Good morning, caller. You speaking? Sorry, hello, can you speak up please? Can't hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, listen, supposing your family is divided anyway. Your mum's from Jamaica and your dad's from, let's just say, St. Lucia or Antigua. How do they trace your blood that way?
How do they trace your blood that way? I don't really know, you know. In fact, I just brought up the topic to see if anybody else has heard about it.
I'm not putting it on you.
Okay.
saying, okay, listen.
Okay.
If someone's from St. Lucia, and their dad's from St. Lucia, their mom's from Jamaica, and the parents from Jamaica are Sierra Leone, because that's where most of the Jamaicans are from, Sierra Leone. Yeah? And then on your dad's side now.
So you're wondering. So you're wondering how they will trace. But if you're looking at blood samples, then if wherever your roots comes from, you can actually trace it through the genes, even if it comes from 2 different seeds or 2 different roots. Yeah, with genes you can actually trace it. You can trace it back, even back way back, hundreds and thousands of years ago even. So the fact that you might have parents from 2 different areas in the Caribbean, and in fact indeed may have roots from even more than one tribe within Africa, then both of those would or should be able to come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's still a strange situation, because they brought us to the Caribbean, and our culture, and now they're going to try and help us chase our culture. It is so controversial.
Yeah. Have you heard about it yourself? Sorry, I didn't catch your name at the beginning.
Dee.
Oh, Brother Dee. Okay. Did you hear? I mean, am I the only one that heard this? I think it was some strange time of the night, about 3 or 4 in the morning, when I was listening to the BBC radio something or other. And,
you know what it is? You know what it is? I didn't hear it, but that is an interesting thing still. And the next thing I wanted to point out to you.
Yeah.
You know, you said about in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I don't think it's herbs that's mad in them over there, you know.
Well, what do you think it is then?
Herbs is legal to have herbs, so people don't use it over there.
What I want to know is, if it's legal, do they make it out there or do they import it?
They import it.
They actually import it.
They grow skunk out there.
So do we know that that's safe though?
Huh?
Do we know that that is safe though?
If I know what?
What you call skunk, I suppose that's a form of ganja or herbs. Is that safe though? What is in it?
I don't know if it's safe, but I don't know, because they put all kinds of chemicals in it.
Well, it doesn't sound like a healthy name to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you going to say?
In Amsterdam as well, right? Crack is legal, heroin is legal, and the police give it to the junkies to keep them, from stopping from robbing people or whatever. The police will drive around, give them a couple of rolls to eat, and give them a bag of heroin.
Okay.
So when you see somebody gone to the dogs over there, it isn't necessarily
it's not necessarily that.
Heroin. That place is Sodom and Gomorrah, because they've got every drug there, and everything's legal to have. It's legal to have coke on it. It's legal to have heroin. It's legal to have crack. It's legal to have Eve. It's legal to have everything over there.
Okay. So that person who said it was just down to the herbs and the smoking of herbs, obviously didn't know.
It could be. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It was interesting that. Well, it wasn't interesting actually. It was quite distressing that I was waiting for about 10 minutes at the station and I saw at least 5.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, those people you saw at the station are not weed smokers. They're heroin and crack addicts.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. I'm out.
Have you got? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that call.
All right.
And if anybody else wants to call, hello. Bye. If anybody else wants to call in, the number is 07946 437 590.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like herbs and crack and all that, legal and all that. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? We know where to send some of them crack addicts and that. You get what I'm saying, or whatever. They need to get some money together and head out there. Because if it's going out for free, you know what I'm saying? That's the place to be, mate. You know what I'm saying? Jesus, what's that all about? You get what I'm saying? A man saying that to live in Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, hello, Genesis.
Yeah, good morning. This is
Good morning.
Rose on the line.
Sister who? Sorry?
Rose.
Okay, hi.
Hi. Yeah. I wasn't really going to comment about the DNA, but the DNA testing, but just a quick comment I'd like to make. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about. But as far as I'm concerned, why is it that they have to have your blood? Because from sort of a little research I was doing, there's other methods that they could use as well. I mean, basically, my point is I don't trust it.
That's what I was saying.
Because, all too often, for a start, the people, I think it's is it Harvard University?
Yeah.
Isn't that a white institution?
Yeah. But it's meant to be the brain of America, really, isn't
right,
it? Yeah.
Sort of the equivalent Eton and all that.
Yeah, that's
why
right.
are they all of a sudden they're so interested? They make it look so sort of like, wouldn't it be great to trace back your
That's right.
your life and all this sort of thing? You know, in real terms, we all basically know the story and, you know, and the enslavement. We all know that, but
No, we don't.
most of us anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, I think a lot of us. I think most of us, maybe not. Hello.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, well, the point is anyway, I definitely don't trust this method that the method where they have to be always extracting blood.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you lead on from there and think, well, maybe they're trying to study further study the African blood or whatever.
That's right.
We must really stop falling into these traps all the time, you know?
That's
I
right.
think what I'd say to the listeners is that, you know, they have to think more deeply about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're up on, you know, like AIDS and the Tuskegee experiment and stuff like that, because remember, there's a lot of people who, you know, you say the Tuskegee experiment to them, they don't know what you're talking about, or even they still think it's a green monkey that gave Africa AIDS. You get what I'm saying? Or some, you know, some overly sexed black males, which is impossible.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no way you can really trust them. And what people, I think, in terms of black people, what we have to realize is that basically it's them against us. You know what I'm saying? And it's their friends who are black who are against us as well. So even though we might have these universities, you know, professor of Harvard, whatever.
Right. You can't, you know, these people know. I mean, for example, you know, because you have to look at the history and. You know, why are they making out? I mean, they're very devious and sneaking people.
Very.
For example, the aspartame, you know, because I was listening over the week and there was a mention about aspartame.
Commissioner was talking about that last week. Yeah.
Well, you know, these are the sort of people that will develop all sorts of things. People put in your food to you know, destroy you. So, I mean, you know, you've got to be cautious. You've always got to actually look into these things, and it's a fact. It's happening. But one thing, other thing that I quickly wanted to mention as well is that I've got a thing here about cancer warning to ladies about these deodorants and antiperspirants. I don't know if somebody's mentioned it before. Maybe they have. But apparently, well, it's a bit long. I don't really want to read out the whole report. But the gist of it is that a lot of the cancers, the breast cancers, they say some men can get it as well, is caused by the antiperspirant and these deodorants and all these things. That
they've got different chemicals like aluminium and stuff like that in order to stop your pores, block up your pores and stuff. And what it does, it creates you know, your body's meant to do what it's meant to do, and what those things do is they block up your pores and obviously impede the functioning, and therefore you know, what's supposed to come out can't find a way out and finds somewhere else, and it becomes cancerous. It develops cells and becomes toxic.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So again, you know, this was just sort of backing up evidence going from before. Again, it's the mentality. Why create these things?
That's right.
Anyway, for those who may be wondering what they can use, there are natural alternatives as usual.
Oh, most definitely. And you know that from day one, you know, black people from the earliest days off the ship have always used like baby powder, and that, you know what I'm saying, because I mean, you know, although that's got a smell, it doesn't tend to block up your pores as readily. But what we found out later down is that they start to use aluminium in the powder too. You see,
you know what I'm saying? That's it. Which is, you know, you could end up 10 years. Why have I got this? You know, what have I done? I could have easily been living healthy, but you know, it's to trace back everything that you know, the way that you live your life, how you live your life. But I know that I had to point out that little point there because I don't think I myself use a lot of these things, and you don't really think it's just it can't possibly harm you, but you know, obviously
that's great. That shows a level of awareness and that, and I'm talking as a doctor. I always talk from a point of being imprisoned by a society. You know what I'm saying, and the society itself has always hurt itself. It doesn't care about itself. This society, you know, it will make something and then put it on the market and then see what happens just for profit. This is a capitalistic and profit-making society called white people, for Europeans. So they don't have the same care like you and I know. There's no way that we're going to give our children something that we know might poison them or has not been tested properly and could poison them. So what the white propaganda machine does, it sends out, oh, it's okay, although they haven't tested it, and they make a whole heap of money and a whole heap of profit off of it before they realize that it's cancerous or it's poisonous or it has a high toxicity. You know what I'm saying? So these are the people that we live amongst, and this is what they do to themselves. So we are at the bottom of the pile. They don't care what they do to us because they're doing it to themselves. We are just a participant in their society.
Because we're like, because even when, you get some people talking about, that, as I said, that disrespectful caller before, that he's making lots of money, just disrespecting the whole, idea of the station. You know what it's like, that's just disrespect. But basically, what I'm saying is that, he's not making no money. I mean, there's Barclays Bank, the directors there, 40 million.
Look at that! When
40 million, come on!
I know.
I mean,
I'm
think about these things. I'm just saying to people, the listeners out there, please think about these things.
Remember, they're not even doing it to us. They're doing it to themselves. Right. They have a philosophy for life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I have to, when people call him, dark. I mean, but I just have to sort of like bring up these things just to show them, look, please wake up, because you might as well be sleeping anyway.
Rose.
Right, now, just a quick other, I don't know if I'm allowed to do it on the show. It was about the African Socialist Party.
Yeah,
I did listen to you, the information show last week, but I didn't want to phone in because I had to think about, some of the things that
was said. Yeah, great.
But anyway, it's just a sort of, I'm just throwing out a few things. Who founded the party, please?
I think it was founded. I don't know. I think it's a evolution from like Huey P. Newton and the Black Panthers. It's a sort of later version down, I think.
Okay. But them themselves, what are the achievements? Because I was just thinking that there was a lot of talk and it was a lot of about socialism, Orbism, a lot of isms.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to throw out as well is that remember that I think it was Angela Davis, a very prominent revolutionist.
Yeah. Also developed from the Black Panthers as well.
That's it. Now, where is she today? She's a lesbian, isn't she?
That's right. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that yes, you go through the evolutionary process, but you still have to have that control of your mind as to where exactly is this leading into. Because I was thinking, you get into these things and whatever, and before you know it, you've changed.
Yeah, definitely.
But as I said, I mean, I can't put it as eloquently as you yesterday. I mean, I was listening to your show yesterday, and most of the things that I was going to say anyway,
Wicked.
You said, so there's not really much I could really add to it, but it was just a few little things that I had to mention about Angela Davis and just bring it home to, how things, and also
things change people, and they've changed it. When I said to the guy, when I gave the guy the meaning of socialism, he's saying he's not dealing with the Webster's dictionary. So what dictionary is he dealing with? He's making one up. He's making it up as he goes along. I can't refer to that.
That's it, that's it.
If he said he built sorry Rose, if he said he built another dictionary, or if he's saying I'm doing it off of this, made by Marcus Garvey, off of this thing, he's not saying that, he's saying this is, we're not dealing with this, and then basically they can add and take away what they like when they want. What kind of,
That's it, and what I was going to mention about the white ladies that came in is that sort of the point, usually these things, they tend to be these feminism type. I mean, you have to be careful. I mean, the point is that their foundation, I mean, Malcolm X said it, their foundation has to, we as a people have to actually be a force to reckon with before we can even consider sort of like you feel that you can trust these people. Well, my answer to these, you can't trust them. I mean, yes, all right, somebody was probably calling and say, well, you can't trust your own, but there's risk in everything you do. My point is that we need to look into our, as I noticed that a phrase has been used by yourself and sister, and work from within, and then you emulate yourself with that will come out.
Right.
So therefore you have to, your mind has to be you know, it has to be
focused
free.
and balanced. You know what I'm saying? And it has to be
I'm
knowing of
even
self.
From those brothers talking, their mind is not really free.
Whose mind ain't free?
No, the African socialists.
Okay,
Some of the things that I picked up just listening and and I'm thinking to myself, is their minds really free? I mean, it's not an easy thing, but I think you have to start with that.
Okay.
You see, that is the foundation, and then you know everything else comes after that. But
yeah, I think you're correct in that in that manner, because I think that socially and mentally and psychologically that we would need to get on as a people before we start building these parties. These parties are off the back of Marx, Weber, Lenin, all these people, and now they even say, if you listen to them, sometimes they say comrade. It's come from Marxism and Russia and all that. So they're using a white man's socialism, adding a bit of black here and there, and adding like spices, and then they're reverting back to the white man's version. There isn't no black man's version, so you're still going to end up with the same results that you always end up with, which is failure. How many times have they tried this socialism, and how many times have they won? How can you keep trying something that over the years has proven not to work, and you still want to still continue with it without reevaluating it, with changing it, or even saying, right, let's drop that and pick up, so like the guy's name is Johnson P. of today, of nowadays, and say, well, his mode and his methodology seems more workable in the 21st century, not some age-old Marxist man who really wasn't worrying about black people when he was developing communism, wasn't thinking about black people when he was developing socialism. You know what I'm saying? What about Garvey? What about a phone call? I think it was John said, what about Garveyism? Why don't we look at that? Why as a black thing template?
That's right. That's right. You see, so I mean,
you're where I'm at. we're at the same place, Rose.
That's why I said that. Really, I was going to go into detail, but really, you said it all yesterday, and I said yes. Well, that was because I made notes and
see,
things,
great stuff. I love that.
But basically, as I said, it's all like a telepathic thing because I'm on that same mindset that what.
Right.
So basically, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like-mindedness. You see what I'm saying? It's important that black people realise that we are at war or we're at loggerheads with the colonists of our culture. What we're doing is by force. It's not by voluntary. If I had a choice, I would not want to live like this. So that means I'm doing this by force. If you ask a lot of white people now, especially the middle classes, they're okay. It's only the poor whites that have got a real problem. And some of them are even okay themselves, as long as they got their holiday, their little lunch money. They're okay.
I've known some of them, and that's why they're living in a land of they're all right. They haven't got nothing to worry about. There's no way that they could even begin to, empathize or whatever. They're on what they're on.
They go to Nambia. Sorry, they go to Nambia, they go to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, all over the world, and take the pee out of our people. So it's okay for them. Can we go to Austria, Australia, and take the pee out of their people? You must be mad. Everywhere we go, we're under pressure.
No, that's why I sort of find the irony of it as well, is that when sort of like, I don't know, when sort of walking through the streets of Brixton, and sometimes the refugees used to come up and beg, and this aggressive begging and whatever, and I said, you tried that in their country, they'd lock you up,
fast.
Most probably decide to maim you or kill you.
That's right.
And yet, as I said, the people have to really start, thinking and freeing their minds.
That's right.
And really, all right, then we can move on or develop. Without that, it can't work.
That's right.
We're set up to failure. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Lovely one. Nice one, Rose. Thanks for your contribution. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, 07946 437 590. What do you think of that, Sister?
No comment. Hi.
Hello.
Genesis. What's your name?
Hello, I'd like to...
Hi. Sorry?
Hello,
you're through to
I'd like
Genesis.
to talk to the lady about the DNA samples.
Yeah.
And to Dr. X about communism, socialism, and the African Socialist Party.
Okay, what's your name?
Sorry, I'm Trevor from Camberwell.
Okay.
So I can't hear, there's an echo.
Have you got your radio turned on?
Yeah, I've turned it off now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the lady's name?
Sister N.
Sister M. Okay, I'd like to... Right, about the DNA samples, the caller said it was to do with the white university, Harvard. It was collected by Howard University. They collected, I think, 3,000 samples from 40 tribal groups.
Okay, so
Howard University is a black university.
Okay, yes.
Okay, first point of first. There's 4 points on these sample thing.
Sorry. Excuse me, can I come in there? Howard University is an elite black university.
Yeah, it's an elite black university.
Right, so
I agree,
this is the point I'm making about if you're dealing with elitism, right? You're dealing with the house niggas, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I'm not dealing with elitism. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
That program you had, I listened to about socialism, communism. I'm just making different points about this DNA sample.
Okay, so you've heard about it more directly then.
First point is, I agree with Dr. X. It could be, divisive, going back to this tribal exclusivist thing where you say, I'm this tribe, you're that tribe. But I was just thinking, is it possible there could be a positive point, is that, say for example, know that you're of Ashanti or Yoruba or Igbo or Mende origin, would mean that you have a specific culture, specific language, a specific religion, because these African tribes had their own religion thousands of years before Christianity, before Islam. So it could give people a kind of positive self-esteem.
Something to identify with.
Yeah?
Something to identify with.
Another negative side is, a report I was reading, is that, as you know, during slavery, there was a lot of rape. And therefore, a lot of people who, say they are African-American or African-Caribbean, they might have some English, Scottish, German, French origin. And there's a report in America that one person who went for this test, dressed up in traditional African attire, when he did the DNA sample test, he found that he was part German origin because of all these rapes that took place during slavery. And he was upset about that.
Yeah. But most people know that already. Most people who come from the Americas or from the Caribbean know that there's quite a lot of mixing, and even from within Africa itself.
Yeah, there's different tribes.
But the human race has been mixing intermarriage, breeding and everything for many centuries, many thousands of years. So you shouldn't have been too surprised at that.
No, but you know that you have German origin with all this connotation with Nazis and things. Psychologically, he was very according to the reports, very depressed about it.
Well, perhaps he should have, given himself a bit more information. I mean, it's just one
That's
of those realities of life.
Yeah, before people go for these things, as you said, they should do more of their own research and more information gathering for themselves.
Yeah.
My last point on the DNA samples is that, they've taken samples from across the West African coast, but some of the people who were taken to America and the Caribbean, for example, came from Congo. There were even slaves taken from across Somalia, from Zanzibar. So, it's not conclusive to say that all the people in America, Caribbean, just only came from West Africa.
No.
So some people's identity will not be confirmed by these tests.
I think you'll find that they're from all over. I think you would find that they're from all over.
No, the samples were only from West Africa.
They're only taking them from West Africa.
From West Africa. They're slaves brought from Zanzibar, which is off the coast of East Africa.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I think we would find that the people from the slaves were from all over Africa. So obviously some people may not actually find any trace at all, if at all.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
You're confirming my point.
Okay.
Yeah. Go speak to Dr. X. I listened to his program about democracy, socialism, Marxism, and the African Socialist Party.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to ring in, but I couldn't get the number. So
I really wish you did, because
maybe on Sundays. You could give out on Sunday, on the Sunday program. Can you give out the number more frequently?
Okay, so I'm sorry about that, but I was really quite engrossed with this whole
that
idea.
program was so interesting.
Yeah.
But just my quick points on that. For example, this word socialism, communism is being misused because you call us from the Socialist Party. That's the impression I got. Places like Ethiopia, China, Russia was nothing to do with communism. That's state capitalism, Leninism. It was Lenin who formed the Russian or the Soviet state, and he called it dictatorship of the party.
Okay.
Real communism cannot be anything to do with dictatorship.
Right, but when Marx developed it, right? Well, and when Marx went into it, and then it was formally endorsed by Engels, yeah. Weren't they working for their common term for the workers' classes was the proletariat, yeah? So wasn't it their particular version of communism? Wasn't it to put power in the hands of the working people and take it away from the?
But Marx himself in the Communist manifesto. Yes, theoretically they put it in the hands of the workers, but this is the clinch. Through the Workers' Party. And when you have a party, you get hierarchy, you get bureaucracy, you get elitism.
Okay.
And members of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union had access to resources and power that ordinary people didn't have.
Yeah, that's true.
That's capitalism.
That's true, because they had their own bus, they had their own bus lane, their own stuff.
That's right. They had their own Dachas, their own villas, their own holiday resorts.
Okay.
It's a con. Okay, in America you had corporate capitalism. In Russia you had state capitalism.
Okay. Hold on, just stop it there. So corporate capitalism would be capitalism based on the people that own businesses and stuff like that.
That's right.
And so then we're talking about state capitalism would be about having a party that has power, which within the party they have hierarchies and their power. Great, yeah.
Because to me, real communism, if you look at, I was looking in the dictionary and they use the French word égalité. It's a simple thing. It means equality, egalitarianism,
is that
sharing of resources, like you said to the chap from the Socialist Party.
Yeah. So is that a French word, égalitaire?
Egalite, E-G-A-L-I-T-E.
I know. What is it? Where's the origin of that word?
Well, is a French word meaning egalitarianism, equality.
Okay, great, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And another point I want to make, which I've made to you before, I think I spoke to you before.
Okay.
The real communism, even
communism, it was you.
Yeah, Marx studied African societies, and this is where Marx's racism came in. He acknowledged that when he studied African societies, they had the original communalism. Which those societies, they share things. A specific example is the Yoruba nation. I won't say Yoruba tribe, because it has too many divisive connotations. I just say Yoruba nation. I spoke to you before about it. They had what they call AARO, A-A-R-O. They had communal farm help. They help each other, and they shared. When they sold all the farm produce, they shared it. They just shared it. They didn't have any party. They didn't have any great dictator, any great leader, or any ruling committee of the central committee of the leading party.
Oh, so could you?
It was a voluntary thing.
Okay, so could you tell me why our history is steeped with this idea that we have kings and princes all over Africa? Because everybody keeps saying we were once kings and queens. So if we was living under communism kind of rule, why have we then? Isn't kings and queens a monarchistic type of rule?
That's a good point.
Monarchy.
Yeah, but in Africa you had both forms of organization. You had the hierarchical kings and queens system that you talk about, and in many African societies, which many historians haven't talked about, you had this communal kind of system.
So was there
a constant conflict between them?
That's what I'm going to point. So was there war between the hierarchy and the communalism? Was there?
That's what I'm saying. Both systems were represented and both were in perpetual conflict.
Right. So we
can't deny that.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. When these guys come on the air and talk about before white people got there was no war. I want to know what part of history they were talking about.
No, that's not true. They're dealing in a kind of mystical fantasy.
You see?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Trevor, right? That's why I wanted them to be clear. I wanted them to say what they fully say, what they needed to say, so that then we can come. Because you can't do everything in 2 hours. So you have to find one way of looking at it, and then giving the people them a chance to, like Sister Rose says, assess the situation, digest what they said, and say, hold up a minute, that don't sound right. So I knew from the beginning that what they were saying, but I made them say over and over like there was no war before. How can there be no war before? And we had kings and queens, and we've got evidence of tribes conquering other tribes way before white people got there. What about the Moors? What are they talking about?
You know that conflict, just like with slavery. You had some African leaders who collaborated with slavery, and you had some like this along of other men who fought against it. So there was always perpetual conflict situation.
Plus, what was the point of answer? The woman who the men wouldn't fight, so she got all the women to fight. So what was that? Was that fun and games they were doing, or was it war?
It was war.
So what are you talking about? What are these people trying to brainwash? So you see what I'm saying? When you use a white-minded concept such as socialism, you have to add a lot of fantasy in it and unrealistic stuff in there in order to convince the people.
It's socialism because it's a corrupted use of the word of capitalism. It's Leninism.
Yeah, I've got that.
And my final point, and just a quick question to you, is that this African Socialist Party, right, just let's theoretically say, they came to power in one African state. They would be the leading party with the hierarchy, the elitism. They would be the rich ones. They would be the elite. They would be the upper class.
Yeah, yeah.
So as you said, they're just recycling the old European theories and dumping it on us again. So let's be careful of this.
Yeah, respect.
Although the program was very good and it was really very democratic because you allowed them to have their say and then you counteracted some of their points. So that's what we need, open discussion, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying.
You mentioned a paper called The Burning Spear?
Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to read it. I mean, I've never seen it anywhere.
Well, that's
Where
what
did
I'm
you get
saying
it
to them.
from?
Remember, this is what I'm saying to them. They're strange people. Because I said to them, what papers, where do you sell it? And they didn't give me an answer. They said they sell it in places. And I said, where? And they said it'll soon be in the shops. And then I had to mention the fact that it's a revolutionary paper. So I don't see anybody's going to want to put that next to the Sun. And then he went off into something else. So what usually happens is if you're in contact with these organizations, you can get a lead in. We had a number up here somewhere. Why do people take down information and stick up dances? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? We had the number right in front of us. You get what I'm saying?
Have you got that number?
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't, because somebody's decided that we didn't need it up on the information board, but we need another dance up there.
But yeah, if it's a dance, it's up there straight away.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? And they've taken down the information which was there in front of us. I don't know. You'd have to ring back on another show and maybe Commissioner or somebody else could give you, because we're supposed to have it here. That's
well, okay, if you have any more contact with, I think his name was Louise from the African Socialist Party.
Right. But he phones in from time to time anyway.
Yeah, I've heard him. He was on another station this morning.
Oh, was he? Which station was that?
Galaxy.
Okay.
He rang in, he spoke to Brother Abdul Jatata.
Okay, great. You know.
So if you have any news about it anyway.
I'll definitely let you. I'll put it over there, you know.
Okay, Dr. X, keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks a lot, yeah? Alright, bye. I hate when they do stuff. I tell you, this goes out to all the other presenters out there. I hate when you lot do stuff like that. That's the point of that. You get what I'm saying?
Good morning, you're through to Genesis.
Hi, I just want to make a quick point with regards to the DNA testing of our genes.
What's your name, please?
It's Dionne from Camberwell.
Dionne.
I just wanted to find out if this does go ahead, wouldn't it be possible for the whole world to trace their ancestry? Because it's been said that Africa is a
Is the roots of
civilization.
Yeah, that's a point. That is a point. Yeah.
So it's not just a matter of the black race.
No.
It's a matter of all races.
But on this particular news item that I heard, that I actually saw, it actually referred to, in fact, not even just all black people, but just those, the African Americans. It seemed to be something that they themselves seem to be interested in and are doing. So my main reason for bringing it up was to see what people thought about it. And as has been said already, although there can be some positive aspects to it, such as being able to find an identity, being able to relate to people in that respect, there's also, which is my main concern, the fact that once we start allowing our blood samples to be used for various testing, we don't know what else is happening at the same time. And sis, while you're there, I don't know if you have any children, or if you know anyone that's got children, regarding the meningitis vaccination that's been campaigning by the government just recently, I wonder whether yourself or anybody else out there has actually allowed their child to get this or have this meningitis injection. I chose not to allow mine to have theirs. My main reason being that I've got wind of information, although it's not proven, but once I hear it, I'm weary of it, that certain samples, although it looks as if the samples are taken randomly for any child in a school, certain particular types of batches are specifically, the nurses or whoever have been asked to give those or inject those into black children.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But personally speaking, I agree with you on that point, because I've got children as well, and I haven't given my last child the meningitis.
The meningitis, I think we have to be a bit brave about, do we do what because they give you all this information that makes you feel really frightened if you don't do it.
Well, I think it stems down to the individual, how you actually feel about it, and if you have reservations, I wouldn't personally do it. But one thing you need to do is actually to research into it, and because of all the propaganda with regards to
what might happen if you don't do it, with
regards to inoculation, you know, it's a lot of scaremongering out there.
Yes.
But my own opinion is that, you know, there are many different diseases that are being concocted within society, and they're creating all these different viruses and, you know, cures for it. So at the end of the day, it's down to the individual to research what is actually going on and take note, like one of the callers says, about what is actually going on around you.
Yes.
Okay, and the last point I'd like to make is to Dr. X, where did he get the idea of I and I, the I within, the God within oneself, and the person that you are? Okay, I just want him to reiterate on that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that off air,
I'm
yeah?
going to cut off though.
All right, then, great, yeah.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that call, yeah? The concept of I and I is a Rastafarian concept, although it dates back even further than that, back to Egypt and stuff like that. Yeah, but I when in my development and my enlightenment through life, I took that from the Rastafarian part of my life, yeah, where they talk about the I, when they say I and I, them always, the Rasta said them I and I, rare, I and I, whatever, you get what I'm saying? Now the I is for the physical I and the I is for the internal I. You get what I'm saying? So it's a clear point, because we all know, or we all believe then in this spirituality or this soul. Now there's not, as far as I'm aware, there's not a lots of different essences of self inside the self. There's only one essence or one energy other than this energy. So when you die and you say you got soul, then and when this thing leaves your body, it's the soul, isn't it? It's not another part and leaves another part. It's the one energy. So you know, soul, spirit, you know, God inside the I is the same thing. So people just call it different names. Some call it spirit. Some mistakenly call it spirit, because spirit is to me something else. But and soul, and I call it God. I say it's a God within the self. So therefore, and if it's the I is within the I, and the Father is in me and I'm in the Father, that means that essence of soul or that essence of self comes from the creative force. It's just a fragmentation of the oneness. You get what I'm saying? So an individual is a God in themselves if they care to look inside themselves. But what's happening in this society, and since slavery, and a lot, you know, as my sort of studies have shown me anyway, is that man is increasingly worshipping outside of themselves. So they're increasingly being let down. They're increasingly not knowing themselves. Just like they was talking about this caller who when he went, he thought he was all African, and when he went for his DNA testing, he was so African that that in reality he was actually part German. You get what I'm saying? That's when you keep worshipping outside of yourself. He obviously kept looking into the mirror and never got deep into himself, because the oneness is created with all the other energies. The inner person, the soul or whatever is created with is part of everybody else. So the more you know yourself, is the more you're able then, as far as I'm concerned anyway, is to recognize another self. You get what I'm saying? And their manifestation of such. Yeah, so as to answer your question, the I and I got that from the Rastafarian part of my journey through life.
And also to contribute to that, I mean, my understanding is similar to Dr. X, but also it's often used when we're talking about, like if I'm, for example, myself and Dr. X, we can say I and I, so indicating our own oneness and our own unity within ourselves. So that's also another understanding of it that I have. But I think it's about, you know, people recognizing who they are, you know, within their own spirit and within their own selves, and recognizing the oneness that we have within ourselves and also amongst others. We are each individuals, but we're also part of the whole, and in that respect we're responsible for our own selves, but we're also responsible for others, and I think it helps us to take responsibility at all times for what's going on around us, rather than as Dr. X said, constantly blame others, including God, for what our failings or the woes we go through. So that's my understanding of it.
And as to add to this DNA sequencing thing, yeah, DNA, the reason how they get deep into this DNA sequencing thing, yeah, is that there are certain recombinations of genes, yeah, and what they do is they find a base, because right now they're studying the human genome, right? What the human genome, right, is the ability to map out every single DNA that is in man, yeah? So they're then able, as they say, to eliminate disease and whatever, yeah. But as we know, we have seen consistently from these people, right? Because when Dionne said society, you know what I'm saying, I'm adverse to that word society because I am not a part of society. You get what I'm saying? If we say black man sells drugs, then we say who makes them. If we say black people kill each other, then we say who makes the guns. So the society that we're always talking about, or Dr. X is always talking about at least, is white society, European society. Because I don't know of the African society that isn't fed by European way of life, structure, ammunition, drugs, whatever. So when you talk about society, you're not really a part of it. You're just at the tail end of it, really. We are, you know what I'm saying? Everything that's happening to us is done to us by European society. So when we talk about society, we mean European society. Yeah, cool, huh? Can you take that?
Yeah, I'm Nick from Peckham.
Hi.
I just wanted to talk about DNA.
Yeah.
I wouldn't agree with giving my blood to the white man. Do you understand?
Yeah. But Andy, you might have some white in you though. Where are you from? West Indies, Nigeria? Africa, West Indies, where?
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay, so do you know that your bloodline is kind of all sort of solid for about how many generations?
Well, no, I don't know that, but what I do know is that the white man loves blood.
Yeah. Well done, I agree with that. I applaud you for that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his whole society is based on Draculas and they've got hemophiliacs, which is a modern day vampire.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, they haven't done nothing for us up to now, so why all of a sudden they want to take some of our blood, you know what I mean?
And what it is as well, as Trevor put it, it was Howard University, because I'm saying Harvard, but it is correct because it's the names that I've got mixed up. Both has changed a damn thing. All they do is administrate white society. You know, they haven't changed the laws in terms of music. White people are about to rob us of R&B just like they robbed us of jazz and rock and roll and all the rest of it. They're in the process of robbing us of R&B now. They haven't changed anything. So why should I think just because they're black and they're going to set me up to do something, I'm going to think, oh, because black people do it, I'm going to, jump in. Yeah. You're giving it up to the same. Remember, they're administrating white society. So we have to ask ourselves, do we really want to listen to people who have never managed to break away from a society? You know what I'm saying? Because even though they're saying they're black college, most of their things, they've got all the little institutions that white, the alpha, beta, and all that. It's all Greek. You know what I'm saying?
Gamma, beta, and all that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's all Greek, so they haven't really broken away from anything. All they've done is just created a white version of a black version of a white college. And that can't help black people to free their minds and free themselves. So I understand what you're saying, because you're clear about this hemophiliac Dracula type of history that they have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what I keep saying to people. How can you keep looking to these people when they have a history? Every time you look, you just have to look and you'll see that they're a diseased race. They're a race that loves money. They're a race that would do anything for money. They would make plutonium and poison and put it in the earth and poison the earth. They will put anthrax in Africa and poison Africa. They will put oil and poison the people them and hang some of the people them because they were rebelling against people putting pipes through Africa. These people are disgusting human beings. Yeah, there might be some good ones amongst them, but let's look at the race of them.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not racist in that way. All I am, that if you're telling me, if you can say to me what I am saying is a lie, then I'm a racist. Yeah? But if we can go into the history books and to the news documents and everything like that and find what I'm saying to be there as a documentation of their history, then how can I be a racist? Because all I'm talking about is what I know.
That's it. Well, they call you a racist. I mean, if it's the argument's on your side of the fence, then obviously you're the racist.
Yeah.
When it comes to them, they're not racist. They were never racist for taking the land in the first place in Zimbabwe.
For real.
But now we're racist now. We want to take it back, and it hits the headline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mugabe's a racist.
As the gentleman said, there was no dialogue when the land was being taken, but now they want dialogue.
Yeah. For real. Can you see the hypocrisy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is why I keep saying, if you live like them and you act like them, you cannot be free. Because they use a particular strategy called politics, and politics is about cunningness and trickery and craftiness. So you will, many times you hear them politicians say, and people say on television, you will never get a straight answer out of a politician, because his objectivity is to trick you. And you know what I'm saying? Right now they're barling about what's the guy name? Who's in power now? Oh, my mind just goes blank. Tony Blair. Yeah. Here are they barling about this man who promised them all this and promised them all that. Because in reality, it's about how much. Did you see? Did you see this program last night about on Channel 4?
No.
There was a program about they put the New Labour Party on trial.
Oh, I saw a little bit of it. I wasn't really watching it. I had it on the screen.
Right. Well, no, the point they was making is that they were saying that my man is switched. You get what I'm saying? He said one thing in the beginning, and now he's switched. And Sister N is saying they always do. So what is it about white people? Yeah, because there ain't black people that voted for them. There's 50 odd million of them, not 50 odd million of us. What is it about them why they keep on doing the same thing and getting the same results and not understanding that something's definitely wrong with their procedures? What is it? I don't know. And then we call out, then you and I want to say our society, not my society. Because I've got more sense than that. Don't you reckon you got more sense? You must have, because it's called in a show like this. You get what I'm saying? Don't you reckon what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to say, blood? The logic of it is so outstanding, and you wonder why people are still partaking in this same sham of a democracy. It's a sham. It's a falsehood. You get what I'm saying? It's not democracy. It's about elitism and middle people controlling lower class people or working class people.
Where the black man doesn't even appear on telly.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? The most swearing that I've heard from a black man comes from, in terms of black man language, comes from a white man. You get what I'm saying? The black man who goes on telly cannot, cannot say nothing that is too close to his race. It has to be like something that's already commercial. And what is commerciality about? Profit. It's nothing to do with artistry. You see what I'm saying? We live in a commercial society. Now, if you're happy with that, then you shouldn't be listening to a show like this. But obviously we're not. That's why we're on a show like this, and we're trying to make the people know that there isn't this. If what we're saying is a lie, then say it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can't say it's a lie, that means you are using the trickery, and you're allowing yourself to be tricked. And if you want to be tricked, that's up to you. You get what I'm saying, blood? But I understand what you're saying when you said that you wouldn't give them your blood. I think you're brave. Sister Ed said I should give you a chance to say something. Go true, blood. I mean, if you wanted to add anything else, because you know me, I just go on.
Yeah, no, it's just I wouldn't give no. I couldn't do it, not knowing their history. I mean, I know that. I mean, the modern day vampires, the haemophiliacs. I've read about all of that. You know what I mean? I know that all of a sudden they're going down the road where things are starting happening in Africa, and now they want to start, balancing it out, giving us access to our DNA. To what point would that prove? I mean, how would that help us in the long run? Yeah,
that's what I'm working with that. Who's this again?
Anthony.
Yeah, I'm working with that, Anthony. I'm trying to work out how would it help us in the long run. Yeah.
It won't. I can't see it. It'll just cause more confusion.
It's like a gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, we're already in confusion. Babylon stands for confusion. So that's what this is, confusion.
What did you say stands for confusion?
Babylon.
Saying, yeah? So there we go.
So we're in this more confusion. Okay. Remember that you're in confusion.
In the first place. Yeah.
In the first place.
Yeah. See? That's spot on. So what they're trying to do now is use black people. Now, if they was to do it as white people, we'd all be suspect. But if they use black people, then we'll go, oh yeah, black people, as if we should allow them to do it to us. You know what I mean?
That's it. But the thing is that I noticed that we don't have our own platform. We don't have our own table. They just hand things down to us.
Yeah.
If you want to help, you want a little bit of help, we'll help you look for your relatives of this and that. How is that going to help us? You know what I mean? We want some hard currency. The hard currency they took off us in order to survive in the world that has been created. That we live in now.
Yeah, that's right. Build some hospitals with all the miners that are dying from tuberculosis in Africa because they're digging up all sorts of minerals for the white society and the white capitalist race. Build some hospitals and some decent schools and some decent universities out there. Do that with the money. How comes Africa can't cap some of the money that they're extorting from Africa and build schools? That's what they don't need to tell us about no DNA. Build some schools for these people out there. You know what I mean? With all the oil that Shell is taken out of Africa. Build some schools with some of that billion, not even millions, billions. How much would it take to build a school? Few million? Just like Dashway money. Yeah, Dashway money. Build a decent hospital so these people can get treatment for the disgusting way that you're treating them. £20 a month in the mines, going down all nearly 7 miles underneath the earth. You know, how disgusting are these people? And then they turn around and make out as if it's us. Take away the excess amount of IMF money that you've. Look how they destroyed Brazil by making Brazil owe them more money than they can pay. So they say to Brazil should give up their rainforest to them and their stuff like that. So that's why the rainforests are being destroyed, because Brazil hasn't got no power over the European people to stop them from destroying it, because they had to make a pact with them so that the money that they owe them, that's how they were going to pay them back, by destroying their rainforests. These are disgusting human beings. These are not good people. So why would you want to be like them? Why would you want to develop? Why would you want to develop into their society and be like them and talk about, yeah, I'm this and I'm that, like them? Horrible people. I've never seen such in my life. I've never read about such disgusting human beings and such atrocities from Hitler, Stalin, you name them. Just keep naming them and you just find that they're bare Europeans. And then they want to talk about us, that we're horrible to each other because they're wondering why we can't stop having sex in Africa. Because AIDS, we should work out. We ain't got no education over there. We've got no great big schools and universities over there. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, like I was saying yesterday, we're devoid of our own gods, our own culture. If that wasn't taken away from us, and all the information, seats of learning that we had in Alexandria, where they burned the libraries.
And
took away all the information on the sciences that we learned first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see, blood? So how can you do it? You know anyway, blood. I mean, you're like one of us. So what? You know what I'm saying? You're one of us. So you're on that side of the field. That's why you hear me talk about them and us. Because all black people ain't about freedom. All black people ain't about resistance of brainwashing. They're not about that. Some are just happy to go through and do their daily day, bleach off their face, wear red hair, go dance, wherever. They're, happy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do these things, but what is your heart saying? Where's your heart at in terms of the poverty and the destruction that's happening to your people?
Put it this way, I'm not afraid of telling a white person his history of what he does. You understand?
Yeah, right, exactly.
What his race does, and how the devil's in his race. You understand? Although he's in ours as well. I'm not afraid to tell them that. You understand? They have to take it. I take them as they see me. You understand? I'm a dark youth. You understand? I'm dark skin, and everything about me is real. You understand? I'm the realest he's gonna come across. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. More people like you. You see, when your seed gets passed on and you happen to meet the right person, you happen to be able to foster that kind of attitude in your children, so that when you go to school and the teachers tell you that, oh, your child is rude, you use your smarts and say, all right, then let me work with this system, because I know what they're trying to do to my youth and me. They're trying to get me to separate myself from my youth. So you just work through the system, because that's what I would do with my youths then. You get what I'm saying? I work through it. I make them tell me things long before the teacher tell me. So when I go there, I don't dump on my children. You get what I'm saying? So these are the things, these are the methodologies resistance fighters, psychological resistance fighters have to develop. They have to realize that they're up against a system that is out to keep them in place for as long as they possibly can. You know what I'm saying, blood?
It is psychological as well.
Totally. At this moment in time, remember one time it was totally physical. You get what I'm saying? But at this moment, in this cycle of events, in this time frame now, it's mostly psychological. Especially for people who have been colonized or in Europe as such, like Amsterdam, America, England and stuff. You get what I'm saying? So you see, people like you, if you breed and you create another one of yourself, and whatever, or you meet another one. Which I have done. Sorry?
Which I have done.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? And you see what I'm saying? But that's how it does. And then when we are gone, when we die, that seed hasn't gone nowhere. The resistance still keeps on. You get me? And we might not be able to do it in this cycle, but they might, as long as we keep that resistance going and we keep that determination going to break this slavery cycle.
I was told the other day that it's for the children by a very smart queen, I would call her. She said that it's for the children. I mean, our generation. I don't know exactly how old you are. I'm sure you're in my generation, but our generation is sort of been left to the wayside. We can't really do much with that. I don't know how true that is, but for the kids that are coming up, we've got to make sure that they understand where they're coming from, rather than the white man teaching them more same rubbish that we've been listening to.
Yeah. Hi, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Sister M. Just like to ask you one or two questions. What can you just give us an idea of what kind of work you do, please?
Work?
Yeah.
Well, I used to work with London Transport in middle management.
Okay. But you don't do that anymore. So
I don't do that anymore, no.
Okay, I just want to know, this is a question for you, but it's also a question for the rest of London. Just how far are you prepared to go towards determining your own future? So are you, you said you used to, so I can actually imagine that you've probably just stopped doing that and you're doing something else for yourself, just by the way you're talking.
I'm doing something that's a bit more easier on me, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not going to kill myself for the system.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I refuse to just kill myself slowly.
Right.
Working as a slave, you understand?
Yeah. So you've actually taken steps.
In this present economical climate that we're in now.
Yeah.
That's my synopsis on it.
So you've actually said, right, I'm going to choose to do what it is I want to do.
Yeah. Something a bit more easier, laid back, and
was it a bit of a risk though?
Some money, then I'm all right. You know what I mean?
Was it a bit of a risk in that you might have lost certain things, maybe like a definite wage packet or you've got a lower wage packet? What were the risks involved?
A lower wage packet means nothing to me.
I'm just asking you, what were the risks that you went through in order to determine your future, say, to make it so, to allow yourself to be more self-determining?
I didn't really catch the beginning of that.
Because Dr. X is making lots of noise. I said, what were the risks involved with you making a decision to be more self-determining? Because the reason why I'm asking you this is because, sometimes we want to do things, and the reason why we don't often do it is because we're afraid of the risks that are involved. So if you can highlight some of the ones you might have gone through and that you've overcome, it might give other people, some encouragement. Yeah?
Yeah, the risks are obviously with less money. That's the main thing. But as I say, money, because money, I'm learning about money now.
Yeah.
It's not helping. It doesn't help me too much. You understand? It just makes me more greedy for the little trinkets that hang around my house. You understand?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm supposed to be dealing with myself, and I've got all the material things around me on the material plane.
So you have what you need.
So you have,
yeah.
And I'm trying to feed the divine reality and divine truth and the mental plane, all them planes. I'm trying to feed within myself.
Okay.
And I can't do it if I'm working on or concentrating on the material plane.
Okay. But perhaps you can actually do all at the same time. So is what you're doing allowing you to do that?
Well, yes.
Because it's all part of the same, we talk about energy. The material aspect of our life is just as important as the spiritual, and, all of it needs to have a balance. So we need to make sure that there's a balance within all of it.
I'm not a miser, I do buy things for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't overdo it. I don't need a £900 television in my front room.
Okay, I understand, yes.
I don't need that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All the television will do me. You understand?
I don't think, by the sounds of it, you probably don't have much time to watch TV.
Well, there's that as well. Especially when Genesis is on.
Which is nearly all the time. Okay. Any other comments you'd like to make, please?
Not really.
Okay. Cool.
No, not really.
In which case, then, we thank you for your contribution to the show.
Nice one.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Anthony.
See you.
Bye. Yeah, and I'd like to know from London, anyone else, who else has taken risks? The reason why I'm asking that as well is because this month, it's just been incredible for me. There's people around me that I know that are doing things. I've got a woman who's taken her child out of mainstream school and is prepared to do something completely different with him. Okay, I'll take this call. Good afternoon, you're through to Genesis.
No, mate.
Hi, you're through to Genesis. Who's speaking, please?
No, mate.
Sorry?
Filmmaker.
Can't hear you. Oh, filmmaker.
You're not back again, are you?
All right.
You're brave enough to say filmmaker twice. So
have you got anything important to contribute to this show, please?
Yeah, I'm looking for some light-skinned girls.
No, we're not dealing with that now. You know that. You can either say something constructive or you can go. Oh, you've gone now anyway. All right then. Bye. Anyone else would like to call up, please? The number is 07946 437 590, and you're through to Genesis. Good afternoon. You're through to Genesis. Can I help you?
Hello, this is Elaine.
Elaine.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
What have you got to say today, this afternoon?
I was just listening to your program, and you've been raising a lot of interesting points. I mean, I don't normally listen to Genesis, but I've just like tuned in, and I just felt like to make a few like contributions.
Okay, well, welcome to Genesis. If you call up at during this time on a Sunday between 11 and 2, you'll always find interesting comments made by the listeners. This is called the People's Talkshow. Okay, but what would you like to say, sis? Elaine?
Basically, I'd like to say I'm quite interested in that genetics thing about finding out where your like ancestors came from, or you know.
What has interested you about that?
I think I'd like to really know basically where my origins came from, because
okay, so for you, this is something that you actually would encourage, or you think is a good idea?
Yeah, I do think it's quite a good idea.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see if we can do some research to find, if it's possible to share the information, because it was just something I heard in passing, and I quickly jotted it down because I thought, gosh, that'd be interesting to share with the listeners. But I'm not sure where I can get further information on it. But Elaine, while you're there,
hello.
Apparently Dr. X is saying it's in the New Nation this week.
Okay.
I think that's the Muslim newspaper that comes out weekly.
Okay.
New Nation. Sorry, no, I'm thinking of Final Call, aren't I? No, New Nation. You can just get that in the newsagents. You know New Nation.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
I buy that sometimes. Yeah.
Get muddled up here. Yeah. So apparently it's in there. So I'm going to go and get one as well, so I can read it properly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
Sorry.
I know there's probably like there's in and outs of it. There's like a lot of stuff we don't know. Like what you're talking about, Howard University being
elitist,
like a university like for basically house figures or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that's Dr. X's terminology.
It's like they haven't always got black people's interests at heart.
Yeah.
So there's probably more behind it than, but the actual the actual, how can I say it, the actual idea is is quite interesting and everything. And
so what about the risks involved with that? What do you think?
What about the?
Do you think there might be some risks involved, even though you've obviously identified something positive in this genetic tracing? But what about the risks involved? Have you got anything?
Would that be risk for me or risk for the actual
race as a whole?
I think risk as a whole. I think that it could be taken in turn against us in some way.
So it could what?
It could be taken against us. You could find out where you're from, but it could be turned against us in some way.
Okay. What about personal risks then?
I think it could make you more confused than you already are. I mean, I know most black people have got white blood in them somewhere along the line, but I think that we're already like a confused set of people, and just finding out more information could be a bit more confusing, but I can see it being more positive on the whole than negative.
Could I just ask you something then?
Yeah.
Because you said you'd like to find out for yourself. Yeah. Would that kind of make you feel more fulfilled or more connected or whatever?
Definitely more fulfilled. Definitely.
Okay. So that's your Why? The question is.
I've always been really interested to know where my ancestors come from. I know that I've got a lot of white blood in me. I'm not mixed race or anything, but it's in like area line.
Yeah. Are you from the West Indies?
Yeah, I'm from Jamaica.
Yeah, most of us from there have got some kind of mix. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to work out, as a caller said earlier on, just how accurate is this DNA sequences thing? We're not even sure just how accurate it is, and you know what I'm saying? Because if we've got like 17 generations of mix-up, how are you going to tell which tribe? I don't know, unless they're well in it, they must know, but I'm just thinking, how are you going to tell what tribe you originate from if you say Ashanti, went on the boat with a sort of Fanti or whatever, on the boat on the way over, you know what I'm saying, and then your first generation slave was whatever, mixed of them two. How are you going to know which one is you? You get what I'm saying? That's where it's, it seems kind of confusing.
It does. It doesn't sound as clean cut as how they make it sound. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of impossible to find out exactly what tribe you're from.
Before we get into it, as Sister N said, it would be much better, as other callers have said, Sister Rosenside, that it would be before we start to head down those roads, we'd have to be far more clued up about what DNA sequencing is and what the human genome and what they use and how they measure. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit like Mariandina, you know. Professor Sali, I don't know if you've heard of Mariandina, but it's meant to be a treatment for AIDS, right? But they don't want it on the market. This is a black man who says, I have a treatment for AIDS, and he's proven that it works, yeah? He doesn't say it's a cure, but it's a treatment that alleviates a lot of the suffering. People don't want it on the market. So what troubles me a lot of the time, Elaine is your name, yeah? What troubles me a lot of the time is when they freely want to make these things available for the good of us, when there's a lot of other things that are available for the good of us which they don't want to make available. So that's where my trouble's at. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's probably not a clean cut, and they don't want to find a cure for AIDS because, as you know, it's a lot of African countries that are suffering from the disease. They basically want to kill us out, basically.
That's right. And the drugs that they're using, such as AZT, are made by who? Smith, Gline, Classical, Welcome. Yeah. So in other words, they still got Africa at their knees because Africa has to keep saying, send us the drugs, send us the drugs. Here's another 24 million, and then another 50 million. Then we ain't got no more money. Can IMF lend us some more money? Oh well, here's another 100 million. You have to pay 25 million per year interest. But we can't even borrow 25 million. But we've got to be paying. So that means they're never out of debt. Africa's never out of debt. So they keep pumping the oil. They keep taking the diamonds. They keep taking the bauxite. They keep taking everything out of Africa.
Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? So that's where my apprehension is within that. But I'm like you. I would really like to know where I'm from. Trust me. You get me?
Something that I'd just like to know. I mean, I really do envy them people that actually do know what their name is and where they come from. And it's like, my surname's Edwards, and I know that's not my proper surname. It's just interesting. And I have to just make another point about President Mugabe, Zimbabwe. Well, basically, I'm a second year university student, and we're talking in a lecture because I'm studying criminology.
Okay, yeah.
And my lecturer, she called Mugabe a tyrant.
Oh yeah.
She called him a tyrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I goes to her, how can you call him a tyrant? He's just reclaiming his own land, which was stolen from him in the first place.
Yeah, that's
right. And then she was saying that how I'm romanticising the past, and this is actually a university lecturer.
She's feisty. Business. She's feisty.
And that's what she's telling her students. It's really hard being in the system where.
Oh, you see.
It's like you're trying to gain knowledge yourself, but yet it's them same people that are, like trying to teach you. And
that's right. That's right. We have a caller who's doing an MA called Dionne, right? She put forward her I think I don't know if it's a assignment or whatever, a dissertation, I can't remember. And the man saying to her, he does, because it was about racism and she made her points clear. Yeah. He's saying he doesn't, she has to redo it.
I've heard that happened before. It happened to a friend of mine. And what kind of rubbish is that?
They always, but your friend, my friend's friend. And Sister N's gonna come in. Yeah, Sister N knows the people. It's always happening to black people. It's strange, and she can't. How can she tell you you're romanticizing? What's she using to back up that he's a tyrant? The fact that because he's against white people at the moment. You get what I'm saying? Is that what makes him a tyrant? So what about the tyrannical way they took the land in the first place? They didn't pay for shit.
Listen,
excuse me.
White people don't like seeing other white people get killed. It doesn't matter what kinds of circumstances, especially when they're getting killed by black people. Simple. They don't like
That's
to
right, you know what I'm saying? And what they said in the beginning was clear. They said if as long as they don't give resistance, nobody won't get hurt. Isn't that what he said in the beginning?
Yeah, exactly.
But one man decided him I go fight them to the death. He said so from before that if they come to my land, I'm gonna do this. He end up dead, and they come and they had this is how the propaganda machine works. The one man dead, and they had a whole about 15 minutes worth of this man on the news, and the mother and the daughter crying and everything crying and everybody going, oh, it's great, husband, And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying it was one man. They're destroying people in Africa by the thousands.
That's what I'm saying. One man gets killed or a couple of white people get killed. How many thousands upon millions of black people have been killed? South Africa apartheid still going on now.
Right.
Hi Elaine.
Hello.
This is Sister N back. Somebody asked me the same question in the week, what I thought of it. And I decided that I wasn't sure. I need to wait and see what happens next. And the reason why I say that is because many times when you see something like this happen, it's obviously a conflict that's happening, and it's very easy for everyone to jump to conclusions. The white people are going to be saying, Mugabe shouldn't be doing it. The black people are going to be saying, yeah, let's get back our land. But I'm going to watch and see what happens, because anytime you get these obvious conflicts coming up like this, yeah, there's usually you get what the system, you know, what they call the New World Order, so maybe the American system and certain elitists in this country and in Europe, they're probably behind it anyway. They might even be behind Mugabe.
Yeah,
I don't really know, you know, because usually when it flies up like this suddenly, there's something, and usually someone behind it.
Definitely,
and usually the purpose of that is to distract us from something else that might be happening, you know, or you know, it's like there's this obvious conflict that comes up, and as a result of that conflict, everybody's distracted by that. Meanwhile, other things are taking place, or they're allowing other issues to be overlooked. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so to me, none of these things are very straightforward. And I'm somebody who reserves the right to not even make comment one way or the other. Yeah, on the one hand, I'm glad Africa's getting back its land, but I'm wondering what the price is.
Yeah,
so I think we need to stop and watch and look.
Something behind it.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, I've been reading that how Mugabe he's been elected in something for president or something like that, or that's on the line.
Yeah.
He's just doing this in order to kind of get the overall role.
Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of our leaders in Africa are being used to, for other purposes, and we need to be aware of that as well, and sometimes just really observe and try and see the bigger picture.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
What are you studying?
I'm studying criminology degree.
So I didn't hear that.
Criminology.
Terminology.
Criminology.
Oh, criminology.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you hoping to do with that?
I want to go into youth offending, youth justice.
Okay.
So I'm in my second year now, and I read a lot of books about capitalism and Marxist view with this person and that person or whatever, and everything and stuff like that. But it's like we said earlier, a lot of them are just white people's theories and views. You know, they don't really have, you know, much, like, how can I say, any real influence on our life as black people, because they're white people's perspectives. You know, everything that you study is really like before them, by them.
Yeah, it's true. Well, what I suggest, if you're in your second year of a degree course and you obviously got a reason for doing it, I suggest you just do your best to ride the system for a while, but just bear in mind that when you come out, you know, you can be your own person.
Yeah,
you know? It might take a bit of time, but you know, you just go out there and do what it is you feel you want to do.
Okay then.
Yeah, it's kind of like unwashing the brainwash. You need, you know, when you come out, get the degree in that, but when you come out, you take some time out, chill, you know, rebalance yourself, recalibrate yourself, and say, this is what I'm about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In fact, you won't get brainwashed because you're already too conscious in the first place.
That's
you know
true. That's true.
Just constantly be aware, and you know, watch them watch you, basically.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, sis.
Right,
Thanks for your contribution.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. Right. Interesting. Next caller.
Hello, caller.
Yeah.
Who's speaking?
Little mate.
You're having a laugh, ain't you, blood? What is your problem?
Who are you?
What?
Who are you?
What?
Who are you?
What do you mean? Who are you? You're saying your name's filmmaker, and you're asking me who I am.
Yeah, who are you?
I'm presenter.
Yeah, what's your name, man?
Yeah, but what's your name then, blood?
Filmmaker.
Well, mine's presenter. What's up with that? You want some free argument? You can get some.
I'm the employer, man.
You're the what? He's gone.
Next caller, please.
What's happening here now is that we've had people. We've had people like filmmaker on the line, and I think the battery's running down. So after this next call, we're gonna have to talk about it. Hello, Genesis.
Hello. I think that guy belongs in France.
Who's speaking, please?
Natasha.
Natasha, hi.
Hello. I just was listening and with the last caller, the girl, she made
Elaine, yeah.
Yeah, she made some interesting comments. You're talking about vampires and evil figures and all that. I didn't catch the beginning of the conversation when Hitler was meant to be a vampire or blood drinker or whatever.
Who? Sorry, who was?
Hitler.
Yeah. I heard that.
The other day. I don't know, I just what Genesis is going to do, what they've been doing is creating like a really good balance for black people. Although what you're telling people, or you sort of implying people should be doing. They still need to, like, they're in the system, and they need to
I'm sorry, Natasha, I'm losing you, you know. You're very low.
Go on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better, much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people still, they can't break away just like that. They've already, they're already well informed themselves. They know what they want. They know what the system is doing, and they know that they need to start making changing themselves and building themselves up. They still need to, on the other hand, survive somehow. We can't just break away like that.
No, that's true. But what I'm saying is that we can evolve with this. You know, like we always
evolve, and you're helping that process. It's a great deal.
Okay, fine. That's nice to hear. Yeah, because what we're trying to do is trying to evolve to another, you know, through their system. Like, you know, like the Indians have got their own worship, their own thing. They're running in our communities very high profile and stuff. So what we're saying, isn't it about time that we have a say about who we are, and stop following and stop wanting to be like, and understanding, you know, I've read Indian history, I've read Chinese history, Japanese history, and you know, we're no different to them. The only difference is that we was enslaved. You get what I'm saying? That, you know, Japanese people have been enslaved. Chinese people have been kind of enslaved by Japanese. You know, it's just the way the world runs. So what we have to do is find out, in terms of my study anyway, is look at what's happened and find ways of counteracting it. And if it means that we have to turn our back on their God or their capitalism or whatever, then let's not just, obviously we can't do it as you said just like that, but let's find a way of developing and evolving to a level where we can resist what they've been doing to us for the past half a millennium, 500 years. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the battery's going. Sorry, Natasha. Really sorry, but I was saying that before. Yeah, when the battery goes, it makes that funny sound. So that sound you was hearing was the battery's going, yeah? We're plugging it in, and we're going to charge it for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to put it back on here. So I'm sorry about that, Natasha. You'll have to come back on later on. That's why I didn't want to take that call, but as you phoned up at the time, I took it. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, it'd probably been whatever. You might have wanted to make a shorter point. So, yeah, we're going to charge it for a while, which means that we're going to have to fill it in with some talk and see if we can enlighten you, you know, for the next 15 minutes within, you know, the concepts of what we're trying to achieve or what we're trying to talk about. What do you want to say? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I think what should we talk about? Should we have a discussion between us two, and then, you know, and see what we can come up with in terms of what was we talking about this morning? The DNA sequencing mostly, and the system as it stands. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Businesses. Yeah, that's a good one. Businesses. I mean, like, in terms, okay then, we had a caller, what's his name, Anthony? Yeah, he was saying that, you know, he broke away from the system. You know, he found out that, you know, the system was dragging him down and making him less fulfilled, so to speak. Now, and you was, as you know, was rightly saying, you know, is it an easy thing to do? Because, you know, you have to pay your bills, you have to pay your rent, your gas, your electricity, and all that, and you know, you need to have these things. Plus, worst of all, if you've got HP going at the same time, and worst of all, if you've got a mortgage going at the same time. Although we would say that, these ways of, you know, of enslaving you materialistically, you know, people do it for more, I suppose, more deeper and more sincere reasons than just material gain. I suppose they talk about their family, somewhere for their family to grow up in, or whatever and whatever. But don't you feel that business, in order to conduct business as a black people, we have to find is it a different or an alternative way of trading with each other that doesn't put so much onus on exploitation? Because the art of European business is how much can you exploit the other individual. That means how much can you abuse the other individual and get capital out of them. That means capitalize out of them. So what do you reckon? Do you reckon that we should develop, or do you reckon that we can use the same lines as already been developed by them?
Okay, my comments on that. I'm somebody, the reason why I was really interested in Anthony when he called earlier is because I'm somebody who actually left the system to do my own thing since 1996. And I left a perfectly okay full-time teaching job.
Can I ask you? Oh,
yeah. I knew you were going to ask, so I thought I'd better say. In order to just do something of my own. And at first I didn't quite know what I was going to do. All I knew is that I had certain talents which I felt weren't being used there, and I wasn't prepared to spend any more of my time and energy in that system doing the same old thing. And at the same time I felt a kind of, I suppose, trust or something that I could do something. I had enough to be able to do something. So it started out with just teaching, really, just little bits of teaching privately, and I'd also learned some therapies along the way, so I thought, right, take it. The main thing
what kind of therapies are you talking about?
Different sorts.
Oh, yeah, like what? Like sorts of therapies of what?
I'm not going to give the names for the main reason that if I just give you a name like Bowen therapy or something, people aren't, you're not going to recognise it. Yeah, so I'll just say what the kind of things I cover. Okay. Anything to do with the development of the mind, the body, the physical development. I think those of you who have heard my shows in the past, the information shows I used to do, I don't do them at the moment, they're mainly on education, health and well-being. So the centre that I've set up is about education, health and well-being. But it was a bit of a risk, because I used the last salary to actually, it was a case of, do I do it in my front room or do I take myself a bit more seriously and get a building? In the end I took the decision to rent a room. Because I thought once I rent a room, I'll have to get a phone in there. There's somewhere for people to come that's not in my house, and it just forced me. It kind of forced me just to get on with it, because I knew that the following month I was going to have to pay the rent, and I don't expect everybody else to start off in the same way, but it does kind of show that you can be yourself and you can do what you have to do. But I think it's a mindset. It's about your mindset, because you found you had more freedom? Do you feel more, what somebody say, fulfilled? Definitely. You can, because what happens is, to me, business is about fulfilling needs, as well as making money. So, each time I found, it started off as something really simple, and now it's like a whole concept which includes a school. And every single thing that has developed has been in answer to a question that a person has, or has been filling a gap within the system that we have had. So, for example, one of the things we do is assess the way people learn. Because one of the common things is that a lot of children drop out because they're not doing well in the system. They're bored to tears. They're angry. They're not being looked after, and mainly it's because the system that they're in, the education system as it is, don't cater for the way they learn and for the way they are. So, one of the things I do is to do learning style assessments, so that the child, as well as the child's parents, can know themselves, to understand, oh, this is how I learn, and this is why I'm not learning, so can you do more of this, please, in order to help me to gain more from your system? Do you understand? So there's lots of there's loads of things like that.
Because that seems more like, I don't know, they have this thing about service and blah, 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 but it doesn't seem as business orientated as, the direct profiteering and commercialization of and exploitation of people, that what you're talking about. So don't you reckon there should be maybe another type of name other than just business? Because it's business name, but really, I don't think it does certain kinds of aspects of trading justice, because it seems to be more like around the Nasdaq and the stock market and the FTSE index and all that.
All those stock exchange things are usually for those that have gone big and corporate and commercial. But to me, it's business, and I've had to look at it like that, because when I first started, as you said, I had these views about business that you're not supposed to make a profit, you're not supposed to ask for money, you're not supposed to this, you're not supposed to that. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, whatever you spend your time and energy doing in the day, and you're offering somebody, it is a service, or you're offering people something that's going to help them, there has to be you have to gain something back. So the way I looked at it is, because at first I used to be afraid to ask. My prices were really low. I wasn't earning very much. I was always struggling. And when I go back home, and I've spent all day working, and you go back home and your family's, eating a few little peanuts because you haven't brought enough in, then it's not a good thing. And I found that business actually wasn't growing. So I had to change my mindset. And my mindset is of a state now whereby I have to look at the time and energy I've put into studying and learning the things that I do and offer. I've had to put the time and energy that I actually give when I'm helping people. When I get help, I help 100%. And you need to get something back from that. And to me, the getting back is like a balance of energy, because you can't just give without receiving, because it's like a drain on your energy. And so if somebody needs some help, and I set my price, and it's like take it or leave it. Since I've done that, there's actually been a lot more business, funny enough.
Oh, really? That's strange. So do you reckon I should go into business? Because I spend a lot of my time studying and doing stuff like what I'm doing on the radio. So you reckon I should charge a fee?
I think you should, Dr. X. I do believe you spend too much time and energy giving out and not receiving anything in return. And I think we need to, it is about self-determination. It is about, going out and doing what you want, what you think is best for you. And as I said, this month alone, I've seen so many people that have done that. Who have decided. I know a woman who's actually, she trains teachers in maths, and she's actually taken her son out of school, this term, to start him in secondary school, as it happens at my centre. But I'm really amazed by what's happening. People are actually choosing to do things differently, and I'm talking about people that are educated, people that have actually been working within the system, know it, seen it, have tried to do what they can within it, and they think, no, this is still not working. It's still failing us. We've got to do something else. And they're brave enough and they're big enough to actually do that. And people are actually doing it. And I'm seeing it every day. And right now, I'm just in a state of amazement, because it's just happening. It is happening out there, London, and people are doing what they want and being self-determining. And it is about a mindset. It's about being brave. It's about coming out of your comfort zone and doing something that you wouldn't normally do in order to move yourself forward. And if all of us as individuals do that, then there's no reason why we can't, as a community, as a race, move forward. But it does take the individuals to start and get started.
So do you believe that organisation is one of the key factors, or do you think that one can just sort of fudge it for as long as one can until you reach a point, or do you think that you need to find either somewhere to find out to manage your time, or to organise? Do you need someone to help you organise your time, or do you need to find out yourself about how to organise your time? In fact, you're helping me out here, eh? What do you reckon?
Well, organisations, I've tried a few of those, and I think the organisations have their place for some people, so I'm not going to knock them. They didn't have their place for me because I'm a bit of a free spirit. I need to do things. I go anywhere and everywhere in order to gain information and bring it back to something and make something constructive or creative out of it. But I find my brief experience with organisations often has meant there's a lot of you have to follow a crowd, you have to follow a group. Sometimes the information you can get is a bit limited because of that, because you're not allowed to go out of the groups or the organisation's remit or something like that. And it just doesn't suit me, really. I'm not saying there's anything, because I think some people need to have organisations to help them to get themselves together, but other people don't. So I've grown what I've grown, and the centre and the school, just through like an individual effort. But what's happening now, as it's growing, I'm employing people. So I'm actually, through business and through doing it the way I've done it, I've got started without all the having to have meetings and this is and that committee and all. I'm not into all of that. So I've grown it as a business, and as I've needed extra help, I employ 3 teachers altogether, 2 in a week and 1 on a Saturday, and I'm actually looking for an administrator now, because I've just come to the point.
When the right time coming, oh blood, I don't want to just be no postman, yeah, until I'm 50 and then retire, and then what is that? You know what I mean? Is that it? What's that? I'd rather use my life I'd rather get that 45 blood for a cause.
Yeah,
that's in my heart.
Respect, blood. Rather than making major loot and that, and just on the loot until you're dead, and the man wants to kill you over your things and that. You know what I'm saying? The man's gonna want to juke you down over rubbish.
And not only that, what about my black people then? How can I just be working as a postman and doing nothing else?
Yeah, for real.
I won't be able to work postman if my previous ancestors never struggled.
That's
so
right.
why am I gonna
Respect,
stop?
blood. Respect.
Why am I gonna stop the struggle? You know what I mean?
Yeah, respect, blood. Yeah, man. See, it's soldiers like you we talk about on Genesis. You get what I'm saying? People that who are ready to say, well, boy, yeah, I understand what's going on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a total inner, but I have to live, but I know how I'm living. Yeah, respect, blood. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing more than that I could say, but yeah. And we respect businessmen like you, know that you have to run a little thing, make major loot, and then say, well, right, at this point when I've got a certain amount of loot, I can just run it like that and bring in certain man who's, like we always talk about on this station, like-mindedness. Well, Dr. X always talks about that. People, like you said, man like yourself. Because if you go and spar with some of them brothers who just want to, like, crack it out and pipe it out and, you know, like, girl it out and rare and rave it out, then obviously...
But you know that is, that's no brain.
Yeah, but if you got bedrooms like that, rude boy, if you got bedrooms like that, that's what happens, isn't it? You get caught up in that and you start to run with that, and before you know it, you're either sitting on the sentence or somebody's grasped you up, or, you know, you're in some arms house fight or something, you get me? Yeah. So it's important if you think like that you don't get mixed up with that crew, because that crew's another type of crew, and you'll still find it.
I've been there.
Seen.
I've done that.
Seen.
And I come through the other side.
Oh, wicked. Okay, well that's that then, isn't it, rude boy? You know what I'm saying? So you've been through the fire then?
You say?
I'm saying, so you've been through the fire?
Finish.
No, I'm saying you've been through the fire. You've been through that fire there.
Man, I've been through the fire, man. I've been through the fire, man. Come on the other side.
Well, it's all good, rude boy. Because there's enough man even that's connected to this station that's had to go through the fire too. So when you hear certain kind of talk, you know that certain man's had to go through that fire to come at the other end. You know what I'm saying? And then if when you come out the other end, you still feel that you respect your black people and you still want to be a part of some kind of movement for change, yeah? Then it's all good, rude boy.
That's what it's all about. And I'm saying, it's the next thing I wanted to say, you know.
Sorry?
No, I want to say something else.
Yeah, go choose. Go choose, bro.
We know. Yeah?
Yeah.
We know all the shakery that they're doing. We know they're doing from a long time, Bridget.
Yeah.
How long are going to keep talking?
Yeah. In fact, I'm putting on a road show. The Doctah X is putting on a road show in conjunction with Genesis. So, I mean, if you stay tuned, you know what I'm saying? It was meant to be at the end of May. It might have to be in June. You get what I'm saying? Because of certain little things that have come up. You know, we're getting the venue and stuff like that. Probably be in Lewisham someplace. And we're just sorting the stuff out now. So it's definitely happening between now and June. Yeah. So we'll be starting. You know what I'm saying? Through Genesis, the Ghettoology Roadshow. And we'll sit down and we'll fresh out some issues and set up some, you know what I'm saying, some movements, man.
And we're gonna start catering for all the real niggas, man. I want all my real niggas there.
Yeah, that's what we.
You know what I mean? I'm fed up with them little. There's not many gone that they know, and they don't know.
Oh yeah.
They don't know, like they're just faking it.
Yeah, for real.
They're faking it, man. They're just jumping in the bandwagon and move to the crowd and going like, yeah.
We find that a lot. We find that, you see, even though you're saying that, you know what I'm saying? You know, we've had people say exactly what you say on air, and then when it come to shove, they're not there. They're like breeze. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, so these are the things that we've got to start to get rid of. These people that do the talk but can't do the walk.
Can't do the walk,
you know what I'm saying?
And it's like, I'm saying, me personally, I'm ready for war.
See, we're at war at the moment. We're at war at the moment. Psychological war is what we're at the moment. So if you're ready for war, that means you're in it.
And it's like I'm on the road and my own black man be ready just because maybe I've got some goal on or something and I have to be watching them.
Yeah, trust me, blood. Trust me.
Yeah. And I'm saying, I remember back in the day, right, when it was like, if there was people on the road and you see like a white man and a black man on the road fighting, you know, you automatically jump in.
Yeah.
You see now, I see a walk past 3 white men busting up a black brother and they don't even, what's going on, blood? You know what I mean? What's going on?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's them back in the day. I say like in the early 80s, we were tight, man. We were tight.
Yeah, for real. What happened, blood? Money.
You know what I mean? I don't even know.
Money. I think fear.
Well, I think enough people, they lost the plot.
Fear. Sister N is saying fear, frightened. People start to get frightened.
Frightened?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
People just are frightened to express themselves, to be themselves. I mean, because we're talking about early 80s, you're talking about the time when people used to go and fight on behalf of their own brother if they saw them in the street. But I remember the days when your own brother used to look you in the eye and greet you on the street. It's the same early 80s, you know. But now you walk past a brother or even a sister, and they look on the floor. They deliberately look away. It's like there's like a fear of looking at each other in the eye and celebrating.
Listen a minute. The media has convinced them that we are what they say we are.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's right.
It's like TV is a powerful instrument, and that brainwash people. And you see, like, listen, my parents are Jamaican, right? And I'm born in Britain. Now, as a black British growing up as a youth, watching TV every day, come home from school, turning the TV, white faces, white this, white that.
But those white faces have always been there anyway, even when we did used to stick up for ourselves. But something's developed more recently where people just seem to be more afraid.
What I'm saying, as a black youth, when you're growing up and all you see is positive white images, and most images you see of blackness is negative. Yeah, after a little while, maybe not in your conscious, in your subconscious, you've got a negative image of your black people. Not everybody, but enough people like that. They don't realize it though. That's the worst thing. They can't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point I think you're making. I think that half the time people don't realise that it seeps underneath something. And maybe what you're saying is that over a period of time is that they haven't realised what it's done to them. Because you was cool, but then the youths coming up behind you are also going to be English. And they're also not going to see positive black role models. They're going to see Pokemon and all them other things that are coming out. And they're going to see always, never going to see a positive black superhero or a black, you know what I'm saying? So obviously they're thinking that white people are stronger and better. Subconsciously, mind you, not purposefully and not
stronger, no. We all know. I'm saying, even if you could be the smallest black man, you need to know your blackness will take you far. You understand? I think most black people feel that. Well, I feel that. You know what I mean? Anytime it comes to things to do with endurance and lasting the distance, it's not that tough and going down hard. Yeah, we got it. Yeah? What I'm saying now, it's like, boom. We have to be more aware, I think, of our environment and how it can pollute your head and make you think negative. Like I hear like my mom's generation saying, why black people are shoot up one another? Every day Brixton people are get shoot up and rare. But it's not our fault, mate. You know what I mean? We've been broken as a people and we've been told that we're no good. We're just free slaves.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, Go on.
I don't like when people say things like it's not our fault. It is our fault, We have to take responsibility for it. We have to be aware and take responsibility for it, Because if you keep saying it's not our fault, but that's making us even more powerless. That's making us less power. That's taking away our power. We have to take responsibility.
What's taking away our power?
By saying things like it's not our fault. That's like a hopeless statement. And I can't be condoning those kind of statements because it indicates that there's nothing that can be done. We can, like talking about it the way. Sorry.
There is something that can be done.
Yeah. So we need to talk about it. We need to spread the message. We need to set up our own businesses. We need to put up our own radio shows.
Yeah,
we need to do whatever's necessary to get the message out.
What I'm trying to tell you is this.
Sorry.
I'm trying to tell you something. Yeah.
Okay, madam, here.
Yeah. You're saying that you don't agree with when I say that it's not our fault.
No.
What I mean is,
okay,
when you are raised in a certain environment, where you're surrounded by people who's living hard, yeah? And I grew up in Brixton, yeah? And there weren't enough people weren't working. There was badness going on around me as a youth. That's what I'd be seeing. Yeah? So as I get older, my environment has taught me that's the way. That's how I'm going to get respect. If I don't go that way, yeah, then I'm going to be in a position where man's going to use my head to build his own respect.
Boy, the point you're making is deep, blood. I understand exactly what you're saying, but
you have to join up.
Yeah, and that's why you said you had to go through the fire and come out the other end. I understand that because none of us have done that. So I'm thinking what you said. Why she said she doesn't. Sister N says she doesn't agree is because it seems as if by that statement you made is powerless. But what you're showing is power. You're saying, well, listen, even though they had me like that, I had the power to come out. But you see, enough of your veterans and people that you know have been shot or are doing time now or lockdown now. You get me? You know that they never had the power. Some of them couldn't even give up. They couldn't give up nothing. Every time they might have felt like giving up, but they end up doing some more bird or they get nick or whatever. You get me?
Yeah.
So therefore, you have the power. So what Sister N is saying is that we have the power, but we need more people like yourself that's able to see what the environment is throwing out at us, and then able to transfer, that same energy from the negative to a positive. And that's where the problem lies, because you're right, we do not control. The television does control. They control the newspapers. They control the radio. That's why we're here. You get what I'm saying? So we are pirate. In order to come against them, we have to do something somewhat illegal to get our voice heard, because they don't want us to hear ourselves.
See there? And that's what we feel like. We feel like society don't want us.
No, they
I ain't joining up with that. I'm not joining that. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm not joining that.
Yeah.
How can I join that? If I join that, I'm an idiot. Because that means then I'm not money. I prefer go out blazing, bruv.
Yeah. I feel your pain, blood. I know what you're saying, because we're all. I think like even like Genesis and certain people in Genesis are coming from the same thing. That's why this is here, and that's why it has this particular stance. It's not having a little laid back stance where it's afraid of the truth and afraid to expose certain little things that we know is going on daily. You get what I'm saying? Even like what you're saying, the way we're living in the ghetto right now is harsh. You get what I'm saying? And then we're like you said, if you never
and they think that we choose that life because we love it.
Yeah.
No, it's not because we love it. You think man love getting up every day not knowing what's around the corner?
Yeah, it's true.
Man don't like that.
But it's not just about ghetto living. There are people that don't actually live in the ghetto but still suffering in a big way. People who feel that they've taken themselves out of it, are in certain jobs, live in certain areas, and they're still getting it. Their children are getting it from schools. They're getting it from their neighbours. It's not just about the ghetto either. It's all black people in wherever you are in this country. There's something going on for you. Because sometimes this ghetto thing, sometimes it ends up getting a little bit kind of, I don't know.
Redundant. It says getting redundant. No, it's not.
But you see, what I'm saying in regards to what Sister N just said is that there's a lot of us, because I do ghettoology, so there's a lot of us that live in the ghetto. I understand that all the other paying for the middle class and stuff like that. So the reason why I connect with the ghetto in that respect is because that's where I come from. But I do understand that there's a whole heap of black people feeling it all over.
And I know that you come from the ghetto.
Huh?
I know you come from the ghetto. I listen to you, and I can hear. I can detect them, I can know them. Exactly what you get me, blood.
Yeah.
There's only certain people who can understand it, and I'm saying if you ain't living it, like I don't know where what's her name, Sister who?
Sister N.
Sister N. But I think black women got a different idea on it,
You think so?
You know what I mean?
I think yeah. She wants to know why.
But I look at you like I'm a soldier, I'm a warrior.
Yeah. Sorry, blood. She wants to know why you think women's got a different slant on it.
I don't know why.
Okay.
So why do you think they have then?
Why do I think they have?
Yeah.
Because they perceive the world differently. Certain things that a woman will look at as significant, a man might not. Okay. A woman might choose to deal with that issue in that way, whereas a man will deal with it a completely different way.
That might be true, but whether you see it from a point of view as a woman or as a man, the fact of the matter is, it's still whatever we need to deal with still needs to be dealt with, and so therefore.
But are we dealing with it?
Sorry?
Are we dealing with it?
Are we we're beginning to.
We've got
there's things going.
What else have we got?
Well, there's schools. There are schools starting. There are businesses. People are doing their businesses. People are beginning to realise that we have to be self-determining. And like yourself, and like myself, what prompted you to call this show was the fact that we're talking about businesses and things like that.
Because I've been reaching out for something like this from a long time. I've heard Genesis before a couple of times, but certain time I'm up and boom, yeah, not early.
Yeah.
So I only catch it certain times.
Okay.
But I'm saying I'm glad that I got through now.
Okay, blood. Hear what I'm saying? You see the ghetto thing, right? What we're dealing with, and you know
My
as a
battle's
soldier.
gonna dead, you know. My battle's gonna dead.
All right, blood. Well,
Go on, say
well, I'm just saying quickly, as a soldier, yeah, you know you're a part of that fight, and you know that you got to deal with that, yeah. We're always a part of that fight, and that's what being a ghettoologist is all about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Dealing with those people first. I'm not from the middle level. You get what I'm saying? I'm from the bottom up. So therefore, there's other people from different walk of life who have equal amount of say. So that's why I'm here, because for far too long we've been missing. The ghetto soldiers have been missing.
Yeah.
In this. I'm talking about the ghetto.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that the ghetto is the bottom.
No, what I'm saying is that there's a working class then, yeah, and then there's upper class. Whatever way you want to do it, they start somewhere. And where I'm starting from is the working class or the ghetto, where we're coming from. And all the fight, you see what all this fight this brother's been talking about? It's a regular thing for brothers like myself and him. Not every other brother has to go through that. Another black brother somewhere else has a different type of fight because he's in Eltham or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So so we've got to have different people reaching out to different parts of our community, not just one type of person, focusing on one type of our community. This is what I'm saying. So when I say bottom up, I don't mean like it's the pit's bottom. I just mean that it's from the working class level and then it goes up, doesn't it? You see what I'm saying, Black?
Well, maybe it's just all equal.
Yeah, maybe it is, but that's an idealism. It's idealistic. You get what I'm saying? We want to deal with the reality first, and then when we sort out that, then we can get this other vision.
No, but I mean, if we say to deal with it from the bottom up, yeah, and with the ghetto being what we call the bottom, then but I know for a fact that there are people, because I work with people from all different areas, from different backgrounds, and when they're sitting there in front of me, and do you understand? Everybody's issue is equal in its gravity in terms of what they're dealing with. Everybody's issue before me is equal, so. Wherever it is, it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, everybody's issue is equal. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at the end of the day, we're all black, so of course we're all.
Well, that's the point.
Our issue.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
Obvious. That's straight on.
Yeah.
But I'm saying enough people don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Depending on where you come from.
That's what I'm saying.
How you're raised. I'm saying I know black people who's raised in like Israel when they were the minority, and they are half white to me. Because for them to get along as youngsters, they had to try and be white. All right, Tommy, mate.
Yeah, bro.
I support West Ham. I went into football and all that crap when I was a youth. Because football, they used to fling banana skins after black man. So am I worshipping? What am I watching football for? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
All right,
so,
hello?
Yeah, I'm saying it's all about.
It's all about where you're at and where you're from. So I'm, like Sister Enz is, she's saying everybody's equal where she's coming from. Yeah, but
they are equal to me. They're my people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But what I'm saying is, what I've been watching and what I've been listening to over the radio and the television is that I don't see myself there. And I don't see people like you there, and I don't see people like other soldiers I know there. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying it's about time that we get a cross-representation, huh?
We've got Richard Blackwood coming up, though.
Yeah, well, that's argumentative as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but he's trying, though.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's all good. Blood, we've got to go with that one, yeah, because we've had you a while, yeah?
Yeah, alright then, bro.
Yeah, respect though, yeah, and keep it locked, yeah?
Yeah, man.
And we're doing a show, Ghettoology, on a Saturday from 10 till 12.
Read out the details and all that again, and then.
Alright then, yeah? Hold it up, yeah?
Right, wicked. Alright.
Yeah, that was a long one. Yeah, that was you see, I got to give them brothers time as well as anybody else, because they're part of our community too. You get what I'm saying? And I know where the man's coming from. Hello, Genesis.
Yeah, why is it that black people are full of bullshit?
Yeah, I don't know. Why do you reckon? Sorry, who's please? I wonder who is that? I wonder if that's a filmmaker again, because it seems to. The person just said that and kept cut off. Yeah, and I'm saying I'm all good with all that. You get what I'm saying? I'm all good with all that. You get what I'm saying? What was we saying? Where was it? Yeah, so we've got a clock. We had some callers call up when the phone was off and said they were going to conch. Yeah, okay, let's go with that one. Sister Ann?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Genesis?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, who's speaking, please? Hello, you're cracking up?
No, I can't.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, who's speaking, please?
Yo.
Hello? Sorry,
Hello,
you're cracking up.
John.
We're missing you half the time.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I think something's wrong here.
Something wrong with your side.
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear us now?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear it? Right.
Hello.
Is the phone up? Yeah. It's gone. Call back, yeah, because that was, I don't know what's happened there. We could just about hear you. You was cracking up. I heard you, and then you cracked up. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Hello, Genesis.
Hello, yes. It's, my name's Khalifa.
Talisa.
Yeah.
Talisa or Khalifa?
Khalifa.
Khalifa, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Just calling up the business discussion you were having there.
Okay, the business discussion, yeah?
Yeah. Just wanted to make a comment in terms of how basically as a community we have so many skills within our community. And I think the mentality that we have is it's about serving rather than using our own skills and abilities. And I think it's just about changing our mindset for many people and building our own self-confidence.
Yeah, you reckon that's coming along? Because you're saying that what we're serving too much and not... Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think basically that's how we've been conditioned to think.
Okay.
In terms of being employed, although we had the option to do that, that's about someone else using us, okay, for a wage, for a salary per month. And if you look at the flip side, in terms of self-employment, that's about using yourself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And yeah, rather than somebody using you, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you what you're doing is you're devolving or evolving control to yourself and taking away from somebody controlling you all the time, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think that as a movement of people that it can work for everyone though, that ability? Doesn't it mean that also that working practice have to change in order to respect the individual and not to capitalize so much on the individual? Because even though you might have your business and so somebody else might have the control of their business, as long as business has been run in the present way it is, people will still be disrespected and disheartened in the way business or job and working for whatever is set up at the moment, don't you think?
I think there's different levels of business and it depends on your perception and the reason why you go into it.
Okay.
Because for me personally, if you look around in terms of my circle of friends and the skills they have, it may be from hair braiding to healthcare, skills in terms of the counselling work, and it's what level you want to come in at in using that. You can keep that within your social group, or you can let it overspill and say, okay, I'm going to do the financial support.
Okay, Khalifa?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Sista Dee speaking. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So what's been your experience of this in terms of, you working for people and then perhaps doing something for yourself?
For working for other people, I came to a crossroads, say in '95, where it was basically all the internal politics in that work environment was just dampening my spirit, dampening my own energy, didn't want to go to work, basically not reaching my full potential. And the potential that I had displayed was crushed, in terms of...
Was crushed, did you say?
Crushed,
okay.
In terms of the internal struggles and the tricks that people play in terms of having their own power play, own power tricks.
Okay.
And for me, it was like, no, this is not for me. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in that kind of environment.
Okay.
And I have skills and work far above being treated in certain ways.
Yeah. So what did you then do then?
From then on, I just went to retrain, reskill myself in a completely different field to a certain extent anyway. And from then, just look at how I can use those skills to benefit my own self-esteem, plus people around me in terms of my community, as well as every person in the street, basically.
Okay, so are you now self-employed?
Yes.
So what kind of things do you do? What kinds of things do you actually, what actually, is it a service or?
Yeah, the service, I actually do a service business in terms of offering personal development home training for individuals.
Personal development training for individuals?
Yes, but within the home.
Within the home?
Pardon me?
Within the home?
Yes, what I identify for myself as a single parent is that it's very hard sometimes to reach your goals because of your family and personal commitments. And getting out during the day to go and study, or in the evening to go and study, is often a difficult option for people to actually take because of the responsibilities of their child or children. So what I actually do is go into, myself and other trainers, is go into people's homes and work with them on a personal basis instead of developing their skills.
So what kind of work do you do with them more specifically?
Okay, we do quite a variety of things.
Because this seems to me, I'm quite interested, because this seems to be quite a unique way of working. Most of the time people have it, people have to come to a centre or go somewhere else, whereas you're saying you actually work with people in their homes, so that there are no excuses for them not to be able to do and develop themselves. That's really quite unique. That's quite creative.
Yeah, I mean, I just found that there was a need for that, and basically also in terms of the many black families there are, single parents, people that I know or have met in my work, it's a need that's there, and it basically can be met. There's no reason for any individual to feel restrained by society itself, really, in terms of dictating what you can or can't do.
Yeah. So
it's about basically meeting people's needs.
So do they actually get to qualification when you work with them, or is it just various skills you help them with?
Basically, it's a stepping stone. So it's to do with personal development in terms of developing your CV, updated information about how to present the CV. For many jobs, that's the first port of call. Also for interviewing skills, getting the job you want, basic computing skills, time management, effective communication, and also the other part of the work we do is working with children in terms of personal development for children. So I think also the climate today is talk about developing ourselves, and it's about children developing as well their own personal development, dealing with issues such as conflict, victimisation, looking at the achievements in the schools, lack of it, or how we can capitalise upon it. Issues such as that.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Is there somewhere where people can contact you? Because I'm very sure there's a lot of listeners who are sort of not able to get out of the house and would perhaps could use your service.
Right. Yes, there's a number that we have that people can phone on. It's 07989 391 814.
Okay, thanks very much for that.
Okay, thank you.
And who do they ask for?
Oh, that's for Khalifa Roberts.
Khalifa Roberts?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you got any other comments about anything else you've heard this afternoon, Khalifa? Hold on, Dr. X has got a question for you.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to know, sorry. I was telling her to ask you, she's telling me I need to ask you. I was saying, what support did you get in the transition from sort of institutional work to your own, what did you find that, family and friends were supportive, or do you find that you had to even like work with them going, you can't do this, or what? I just wanted to know about that part of it.
Right. No, in terms of that, very good family support and support from friends.
Okay.
I think it's the circle of friends you have with that mindset about moving forward. What can we do for each other? What can we do for the community?
So do you reckon that was a sort of an addition, that was a good part of your making that transition, because your circle of friends were very supportive? Would you have necessarily, just throwing out this question quickly, would you have necessarily thought that you could have done the same thing if everybody was giving you a level of resistance to your need to change? Would it have been much harder? Or was you hell bent on doing what you wanted to do? Because I'm trying to do what I'm trying to establish here and try to recognise whether a lot of it's to do with the person realising themselves, or is it also outward support? That's a part of it. That's what I'm trying to do.
I think both are crucial, but I think fundamentally it's what comes from within, like your own gut belief. Really, that's what carries you, especially when you're researching the work late in the night, probably the hours are irregular. So it's got to come from yourself a lot of the time.
So it's internally driven first, so you're saying that's fundamental to be internally driven. So it would be different if your friends were saying, what kind of purpose do you think you would serve? It was your friends were saying, I think you need to do this, I think you need to do that. Would it necessarily work the same way around?
In terms of
your friends giving you, and you're not really giving yourself. If you was kind of like happy in what you're doing,
right?
It's just a question,
Yeah, no, I think you have to have that standpoint yourself.
Okay.
If you want to have to develop that aspect of learning and work for yourself.
Okay.
Because if other people are saying it, then maybe that's something they need to carry through.
Okay.
Because what's for one is not necessarily for the other.
That's right. Okay. Great stuff. What's your name again? Khalifa. Thanks a lot for that. And we'll give the number out again before the show's over.
Great. Thanks very much.
A lot. Right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Khalifa, for your contribution. Very interesting. See, London, we're out there, we're doing it, People are doing, I told you, people are doing it. So that's why I want to bring this up, because I know that, we're inviting people that, sometimes get tired of hearing the problems that we've got to face, and people are actually getting up there and actually doing things to make the difference, And the more you kind of get up and do it, the more you will actually come across those people that are getting up there and making the difference. So, Khalifa, thanks for that contribution. And if anybody else wants to call Genesis Radio, the number is 07946 437 590. And we've still got about 15 more minutes of the People's Talk Show this Sunday afternoon.
So you give us a call on that number, 07946 437 590. Just to like feel out all of that stuff and make people understand that that's what Genesis is here for. You know what I'm saying? To let people know that we are a community station about change and development.
Good afternoon, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Ron.
Ron?
Yeah.
Hi, Ron. What would you like to say?
I'm the filmmaker.
No, we don't want no more filmmaker. We have enough with the morning.
Thank you very much.
Right.
It's not. I was about to cut you off. Don't play those sort of tricks. Hi, you still there? Oh, he's gone. Sorry. Don't call yourself the filmmaker, because you're not going to get a chance to talk this afternoon.
Are you still there? Hello, he's still there, isn't he? Hello.
Yeah.
He's still there. Yeah.
Oh, he's still there.
You nearly got cut off there, blood. We don't run them kind of jokes.
Right. What have you got to say then?
Yeah, this filmmaker here, right?
Are you going to talk about the filmmaker?
No, well, I just gonna break it down to him. Why don't phone Radio 5 tomorrow morning at Nicky Campbell's show and tell him he's doing film and you want to make money? You see? Because I think it's stupid in him to phone up the Black Power station and say he's a filmmaker, want to make money.
Well, you know what? I haven't even taken him seriously. He probably isn't a filmmaker.
Yeah,
and he probably hasn't got. He's just, he's probably a little bit mad. Give him a chance.
He's not mad.
He's entertained us this afternoon.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, no,
he's not mad.
Sorry?
Because he's not mad.
You sure?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these are the Negroes in your community who behave mad, who play them mad.
You see,
but they're not mad.
You see, if
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. But if you see, when he rang the first time, if he wasn't mad, when he rang the first time and realised, well, we're not into that on this Genesis, then that would have been it. But the fact he's rang twice now, so is it 3 times? So he's obviously playing games with us, isn't he?
But you should listen to what Sister Rose, Brother Trevor, and the other brother in Camberwell and the other sister who's going to university is saying, and see that this is not a mad station. See? If you want a mad station or want to promote his activities in filmmaking, you should ring Radio 5.
Radio 5.
The media radio. This is the black issue.
Okay.
But you're saying more something anyway, ciao.
Yeah, but he's prompted you to call somehow, or do you have other reasons for calling?
But he should sit down, because show the little punk message there with some little scrubber white woman there sit down, and he want to show that he could ring a radio station, But he should listen. All we black not like you, brother.
Brother, what's your name, please? Ron, that's right. But the thing is, that is all speculation. We don't know if that's true or not. So rather than spend precious airtime talking about him, why don't we just go on with something more constructive?
No, but you see, I understand what you're saying, sis. But you see, these niggas, you gotta put them to the place, you know, because each one teach one. If you don't know if his IQ is very low, you should listen.
Okay, we'll give him a big cuss and then let's move on. He didn't like that. Sorry about that. You know. All right. Can we have a next call, please? 07946 437 590. You're through to Genesis, and we're coming to the last 10 minutes of the People's Talk Show. And it's been a very interesting show so far. We've talked about loads of different things, from business to genetic screening, and now we have another call. You're through to Genesis.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name, please?
Sista Dee.
Sista Dee. Hi, Sista Dee.
I can't even hear you very well. But basically, I'm ringing up to ask you if you can give out the telephone number for your company.
Oh, of my one?
Yeah, because I'd like some more details.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, I'll give that out. Right? Yes, Sista Dee, I will do that, and right at the end of the show.
Okay.
Okay, we'll give out this one and Khalifa's one. And if anybody else, has got anything they want us to give out, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Okay.
All right.
Thanks
you. For that.
All right. What are you particularly interested in?
Sorry?
What are you particularly interested in? The health aspects or the more educational?
I just want to know what the organisation is about.
Okay, so just general information. Okay,
yeah,
I'll give out
I might be interested in talking to you about it if it covers what areas that I'm interested in.
Okay then, well, we'll give it out at the end then.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Greetings and Bobby.
Well, I think that Bobby. No, don't you start. Don't start. You see what I'm saying?
Sorry, hi. DJ B just entered. He's ready to do his show in 10 minutes when we've finished, and we'll take another call. Sorry, I nearly called him the wrong name. Hi, you're through to Genesis. Can we help you?
Yes, I was listening to the conversation that you were having with the, I think, two callers before this one, before myself.
Is it Khalifa?
Sorry?
Was it Khalifa?
No, it's a gentleman.
Okay.
Okay, when he made the point about blame.
Blame?
Blame.
Okay, yes, I remember, yeah.
And also the point about the difference between the struggles of the black woman and the black man.
Okay.
You're asking the question, what is the difference? I was wondering if you yourself had an answer to that.
If I had an answer?
Yeah, your opinion on the difference between the struggle of the black man and the struggle of the black woman, or do you look at it as being the same?
That's a bit of a big one for the last 10 minutes. Do I have an opinion on that? I agree with him. I think there is a difference, because I think we do present ourselves differently to the world, and I think we do perceive things differently. I mean, men and women, because I think that's just the nature of how we are. But I personally don't see that it has to be a barrier, if you know what I mean. If there's a certain level of understanding and a certain level of communication that takes place between, say, the men and the women, then I personally don't see why the difference should be a barrier. But the main difference I've observed, and I'm not an expert on that, I'm an expert in some things, but not men and women and relationships in that respect. But from my observation, men seem to take, perhaps, they deal with one thing at a time, a lot of the time, whereas women might be able to do a bit more multidimensional. Sorry?
The point I'm trying to make is, is that the black man's struggle is the black man's struggle harder than the black woman? And I'd like the comments of Dr. X on this as well.
Okay. Oh, is the black man's struggle harder than the black women's?
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally don't think so. I think it's different. And I think some of the attitudes and some of the differences between how men perceive things and women perceive things makes it different. And I think from that respect, it might be harder for the men, because whereas, for example, women, they're quite prepared to do about 3 or 4 or 5 different things all at once in order to get themselves forward. I think some of the men find that a lot harder to do. So therefore, it could seem as if they're a lot more limited. And I think that is one of the problems that I think as black people we're facing. And I don't know if Dr. X will agree with me on that, but I don't really know.
What about you, Dr. X?
Yeah, who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Dionne.
Okay, how you doing? What I'm saying is this, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there is a different fight between, for them, because I bet she's going to run low, right? So I don't know if we're going to cut off, yeah? But there is a difference between the woman's struggle and the man's struggle, but they struggle together. I feel what the antagonism comes for when a black man who's struggling finds a woman who doesn't want to struggle, or a black woman who's struggling who finds a man that doesn't want to struggle. You get what I'm saying? So therefore they can't struggle together. They can't understand the dimension that they found themselves in as ex-slaves or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So I don't really believe there's the difference is that white people find it easier to use the woman against the man than they, you know what I'm saying? Because the male seed is where the dominance comes from, whether, in men anyway, across every nationality, yeah? So therefore they find it easier to work through the woman to control men or control the race. So therefore there is a different, you know what I'm saying, Dionne? There's a different types of fights going on. But together, I don't really feel there's much difference if you put the two proper people together. So if, say for instance, it's you and I and we're both strugglers and we both understand the system and as it stands and stuff, it's going to go, Sorry. I'll just carry on anyway. You're off here now, Dionne. Sorry about that. But that's the end of the show and the batch is just giving up on us again. Yeah, so I'm saying that as long as you find a man or a woman that's along the same lines as you, then the struggle becomes a oneness, doesn't it? You become more together. But I think the only diversion, like as I just said, is when you have a woman who's more systematic or institutionalized and a man who's rebellious, and that's where you find they're at loggerheads. But there are direct differences, but they both, if you understand what I'm saying, move together in terms of the struggle. That is if they're both of the struggle. But if they're not, then obviously there are clear differences. You get what I'm saying? If one woman's willing to be used and abused by the system and another woman is not, and then there's one man who's using to let the system take them on, such as the drugs, alcohol and whatever, and the woman is not, then you're still going to get this battle between men and women. So men and women shouldn't be fighting each other, in this realm. You get what I'm saying? That's off the air. The phone is ringing off the air now, yeah, because it's plugged into the mains, yeah. So that's the only real thing I can say. That I don't think there's a difference between men and women in the issue of the struggle, or in the issue of developing. Only in the issue of relating to each other there's a difference. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was it. I'm sorry about it cutting off, but we knew that it was only going to last a little time. But we've got to try and get the presenter before us to do, before anyone comes in, is to plug the phone in, make sure the plug's in and fully charged, because it does actually last a whole show when it is like that. Because you see how long it lasts with just 15 minutes worth of charge. Yeah, so yeah, Dionne, you know what I'm saying? Boy, you know what I'm saying? That's the battle I don't want to fight, really. That men and woman one, because of the baby mother syndrome, which I always talk about and stuff like that. I think it's time now that we try and make better choices. People, I know people don't like when I talk about selective breeding. They prefer to spin a coin and go in a dance and see a girl in a nice short dress and say, yeah, you me like, and that's it. And that's what they want to build the rest of their life on. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's stupid, primitive and backward. So if you're going to meet a partner, once you become aware, then you have to, like I was saying to the caller earlier on, once you're aware of what you're doing, so even if you're a hustler in the ghetto or you're hustling to make a living, and you know that you're a soldier and you know that you're a part of the fight, you can't spar with guys who just want to smoke the crack pipe and bust champagne bottles and sex girls, and you know what I'm saying. You have to make sure that you're developing and moving towards a way to find someone like yourself. So, for the women who are fighters, it's no good finding some guy who looks crisp and looks dressed nice. They got to find another a man who will support their fight. And for the men who are fighters, it's the same thing. The girl might look crisp, but what is her heart saying? What is she on? Is she fighting as well? So that when you sit down and you've got issues to talk about, she doesn't want to watch she doesn't want to watch the B channel EastEnders while you want to watch a documentary on the other side. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that can't go on, but at least you can share. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's Sister Anne telling me it's 2 o'clock. DJ B's in the house. I refuse to call him Doc Bubbling D ever again. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And we're going to leave. So what we're going to do now, we're going to give you all the numbers. The Ghettoology show is on a Saturday night from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock, whereas I discuss more sort of Ghettoology type issues, and it's more social issues, as Sister N was saying, and they're more adult orientated, yeah, and it's more of an 18 show more than the show at this time. I've got an email number. First I'll give you Genesis's email number, which is Genesis Radio. Right, that's low caps, all in one. Genesis Radio, all together, at, that's that sign A, ISDOM, ISDOM, .zzn.com. I'll say that again. Genesis Radio, all in one. You know, that's all in one line. Don't say, oh, forget it. Genesis Radio at isdom.zzn.com. Yeah? And Dr. X's email number is DOCTAHX. Yeah, that's Dr. X at email.com. I'll say that again. Dr. X, DOCTAHX at email.com. Yeah, so that's Genesis and also Dr. X. Sister N's gonna come on and give you the other numbers of her stuff and Khalifa and stuff like that. And I'll bid you good day and later and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see you on the Ghettoology show. I won't be on next week at this time, but I'll be on the Ghettoology show on Saturday. Yeah, and you'll see Sister N. Well, I'll be with Sister N on every first Sunday of the month. Yeah. So you all it up and keep it locked, yeah? Peace.
Okay. First of all, just like to give out some numbers, but before I do that, I'd like to say a big hi to Monisha, who called up earlier and said she enjoyed the show. Thanks, sis, for your encouragement and support. Right, the number for Khalifa, who does the home... support it, please. I'll give the number out again, 07989 391 814. And my number is, the actual name of the centre itself is called the Accelerated Learning and Therapy Centre, and the number is 020 8551 5551. I'll repeat that. It's called the Accelerated Learning and Therapy Centre, and the number is 020 8551 5551. Okay, and the number for the Abeng International Independent School, which is also associated with the Accelerated Learning and Therapy Centre, is 020 8551 5558. All right, so both numbers are very similar. You can get through to both through the same one number anyway. And I think that's all I need to share with you this afternoon. Thank you for listening. Thanks to all those who have called in. It's been a very good show. And we're going to pass you over to DJ B, who's got piles and piles of records here to entertain you for the rest of the afternoon. Just reminding you that you're through to Genesis on 91.6 FM, and the People's Talk Show is about to finish, and I'll be here with Dr. X next month, first Sunday of the month, between 11 and 2. Bye.
Yeah, also, before I go, I have to say, give some callers, like there's talk shows on the weekend. On a Saturday between 10 and 12, you have the Ghettoology. Yeah, that's featuring myself, Dr. X, talking about, social issues from the urban inner city aspect of things. Then on a Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. we have the People's Talk Show. And on a Sunday night from 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock, yes, we have the Information Show, which is another, will be hosted by any one of us. Also, the People's Talk Show sometimes is hosted by any one of us, yeah, on a Sunday. So most of the talk shows are concentrated on the weekend at the moment. We have some in the week, but at the moment, I'm not sure of any going on. So those are the free ones. Ghettoology on a Saturday from 10 till 12. The People's Talk Show on a Sunday from 11 p.m. till 2. 11 a.m. till 2. And then in the evening, we have from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock, the Information Show, which we interview people and we talk about certain issues, play tapes, whatever. Yeah, so those are the three main ones. Thanks a lot. Them grab a hold of it, and them have another thing for the side of it called a black stone, where them all over everybody kiss. You know what I'm saying? Idol worship. It not say, did the book not say you mustn't have no image? Idol worship. The Christian them know the cross. Whoa, the cross. Them bow down to it, them pray to it, and them kiss it. Not true? So that means, say, them all of them are idol worshipper. Every single one of them Bible religion is idol worshipper. It sounds like the devil to me. Yeah? It sounds like Satan to me. Because he was also known as the morning star, you see. And that's why I don't get them twist your way, because I don't have belief and don't want to deal with facts. Because the devil is afraid of facts. That's why politics reign, because politics is about trickery and deceit. You get what I'm saying? That's why the Bible reign, because the Bible is about trickery and deceit. That's why these little hypocrites and these parasites and these double two standard and double faced people them, because that's what is in the Bible, double standard. Bible, you know, look how God let down the people them, promised them the land and couldn't give it to them, and then tried to blame them. He wanted to murder off all the people them, and Moses had to say to God, no, you can't murder off everybody, God, because then the people them in Egypt are gonna say, the reason why God murdered them off is because he couldn't find the land for them. The fact does God care what anybody's gonna say in the first place anyway? So what stopped him from murdering off the people them was because Moses said to him, the people of Egypt is gonna think that's like hearsay. And you know, like when we say to everyone, don't worry about what that man thinks. So God was worried about what the people them was thinking, that stopped him from murdering all the tribes of Israel, because they was vexed that that the land was full of giants. Can you understand? It sounds, do you understand what I'm saying? It sounds like a devil to me. Something is not happening here that's correct. And I'm trying to get the people them who to understand that it's in there to see. It's nothing that I'm making up. Everything is already there. But because they were being brainwashed by the devil himself, you know what I'm saying? This barbaric human being that is on the planet, that has wreaked havoc all over the planet and destruction, and is still at the moment trying to create mutated food to feed to the people them, to make them even more sicker than they are already now. This human being has twisted them from slavery, because they weren't born into Christianity. Africans were not born into Christianity. They had their own religion. They've been fed this religion, and then the niggers of this country are trying to keep up our black people under these vibes, even the ones who know the truth. Devils. It sounds like a devil. The old thing sounds like devils to me. So what about the Rastas? They bow down to Selassie's picture, them kiss Selassie picture, them do dance round Selassie picture, them pray to Selassie picture. Sounds like idol worship to me. All of these people love the Bible, and they've allowed the Bible to take them into this, and they don't understand what's going on. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or is on the earth beneath, or that is under the sea of the earth.